Vanier Cup takes it one step higher.
The top two teams in Canadian university football are living out their dreams at Sky Dome today. The Calgary Dinosaurs and the University of Toronto Varsity Blues are anxiously awaiting a chance to prove which team is the very best. Hi everyone, I'm John Wells. Welcome to Vanier Cup 93. This is the 29th time Canada's top two teams have battled for this trophy. It's the first time these two teams have met in a university football finale. Still, there is an interesting history for these two schools from the first era of the Vanier. Toronto won the first ever at Varsity Stadium in 1965. Calgary won the last outdoor championship in 1988. The indoor era began the following year, and we gather at Sky Dome for the fifth time today. Now, the road to the Vanier is often a treacherous one, and getting here has been a battle for both teams. 3 weeks ago, the Varsity Blues came up with a goal line stand in the final minute. Laurier Golden Hawks. Next, the conference championship against the arch rival Western Mustangs. Toronto beat the Mustangs in a snowstorm to advance to the Churchill Bowl. And just last week, Toronto defeated Concordia. The win moved the Blues to the Vanier Cup for the first time in 20 years. In the West, Calgary was the best team all season long, so it was fitting the Dinosaurs beat the Alberta Golden Bears in the Western Championship. That victory moved the Dinosaurs to the Atlantic Bowl in Halifax, where a 74-yard punt return by James Buchanan lifted the Dinosaurs over the Huskies and into the Vanier Cup. And now, after all of that, the top two teams in the nation are nervously awaiting the opening kickoff here at Sky Dome, now just 50 minutes away. And we're ready to meet the commentators, beginning with Gord Miller and Jamie Bowe.
All right, thanks very much, John. Hi, everybody. You know, Jamie, if you had said at the start of this year that Toronto and Calgary would be the Vanier Cup combatants, I think a lot of people would have been surprised.
Well, they would have been surprised, Gord, because a year ago, Toronto's program was dead. They had canceled it about this time last year. And for Calgary, they lost 5 starters off of last year's offense, including 2 All-Canadians.
Well, the lack of confidence in these two teams was reflected in the preseason top 10 rankings, and you had to go a long way down before it came across one of the teams we're seeing today. St. Mary's Huskies were ranked #1 at the start of the year, of course knocked off last week by Calgary. Bishops lost its conference final. Manitoba was #3. You had to go all the way down to #4 before you found Toronto. The Varsity Blues came in there, and by the way, if you're looking for the Calgary Dinosaurs, keep looking. The Dinosaurs were not ranked in the preseason top 10. Well, we've got all the angles covered here at Sky Dome today, and our next stop is with Leif Pettersson and a special guest.
Well, thank you very much, Gord. Yes, once again, we are here at Sightlines Restaurant, high above the north end here at Sky Dome, just below the Jumbotron if you're looking at home. And we are delighted to add to our broadcast team this afternoon the head coach of the Concordia Stingers, Pat Sheehan. Pat, you lost the Churchill Bowl here a week ago against U of T, but nevertheless a great year for your school.
Well, thank you, Leif. We did have an outstanding season this year at Concordia. And it's a pleasure to be here with you and the rest of the TSN crew, and it's second only to being at field level.
I guess so. Let's talk about the dome factor here today. U of T, of course, used to it, playing here a week ago. And, you know, for a team coming in here for the first time, I would have to think it's a bit of an overwhelming experience to walk in here. You've got the vast expanse of this stadium, and this was the Calgary Dinosaurs as they arrived on Wednesday. The Jumbotron you see right there. How about it? Is it really a disadvantage for a first-time team?
Well, I think historically it has been. I think a lot of the teams, when they come in here for their first time, they've got to condition their players to deal with the distractions here, the Jumbotron, the humidity and those kinds of things. So historically it's been a problem.
Well, you know, for what I've seen of the Calgary Dinosaurs a week ago, if there's one team that can overcome any obstacle, it certainly is that club. Now, talking about obstacles, Vic Rauter has been covering the show jumping at the Royal Winter Fair all week. He's cleaned the mud off his shoes, and he is with us tonight patrolling the sideline. Vic?
Thank you, Leif. And yes, the U of T Blues, a couple of obstacles potentially in the road on the way to what they hope will be a Vanier Cup. I think it's fair to say that by most accounts, the Blues are the favorite team in this year's championship against Calgary. However, some injuries potentially to their wide receivers, their deep threats. On one side, on the left side, Francis Etienne suffers turf toe. In fact, he hurt it a week ago in the Churchill Bowl. Here at the Dome, they are black and blue. He was out and running in the pregame. he'll likely have them frozen, and he should play. Over on the right side, Glenn McCausland, well, he has a banged up left ankle. The trainer says what we'll do is we'll just tape it a little tighter, and he should be able to go as well. Maybe not full speed. So in fact, a couple of potential problems for the Blues and that deep threat. Patrolling and telling us and keeping us up to date on what's going on with the Dinosaurs. Hello, Rod Smith.
Hello, Vic Ratter, and thank you. You talk about the University of Toronto's very impressive football legacy. You got to go far back for their first Vanier Cup. They're only won in '65. For Calgary, a much different story. Calgary was the team of the 80s, winning the Vanier Cup 3 times, in '83 over Queens, in '85 over Western, and in 1988 over the St. Mary's Huskies. As for their impressive quarterback, John Kalin, who is also on defense, plays both ways at safety. Talked to Peter Cannellan, the head coach of the Dinosaurs, before this game, of course, a few minutes ago, saying that Kalin would be expected to play about half of that game, of course, spread out over the course of the whole 60 minutes. Now let's go back upstairs to John Wells.
All right, Rod, I think that should about cover every corner of Skydome today. Last Saturday, the St. Mary's Huskies and the Concordia Stingers had visions of being here. Their dreams were shattered by 2 superior teams who meet here today. For the Varsity Blues and the Calgary Dinosaurs, it's been a week of joy in the National Sports Spotlight, which actually began last Saturday.
Toss to Elberg. He's got room to run. Elberg gets outside. Here he goes. Elberg. Touchdown, Queen. Brad Elberg from 23 yards out. The clock shows 0. And the Gales are indeed golden. The Vanier Cup champions for 1992. Doug Hargraves and the Queen's Golden Gales. And this man with one of the most impressive offensive performances in the history of this championship game.
Running back Brad Elberg led the way, and Queens gave the Ontario-Quebec Conference its 4th Vanier Cup in a tie with Atlantic Canada. Ontario has won 9. The West leads the Conference Cup standings with 11 national championships. Now, the Dinosaurs and the University of Alberta Golden Bears have each won 3 of those 11 Western Vaniers. Today in Toronto, Calgary tries to break that all-Alberta tie. Now, the Dinosaurs are a well-rounded football team. They match up well against the Varsity Blues. Both teams have solid offensive units. The Dinosaurs win with balance. The Blues often win with big plays. More on the Vanier Cup offenses now from Gord and Jamie.
Thanks very much, John. Jamie, what are the major differences between these two offenses?
Well, they have a lot of big differences. Not so much that one team throws the ball more than the other. They break down pretty evenly. The big difference here is plays per game. 71, Calgary are a team that drives the football. They're methodical football. Toronto, on the other hand, scoring big, impressive plays.
The quarterback for the Calgary Dinosaurs is John Kalin.
And, you know, you think of John Kalin as a throwing quarterback, forget that. This guy here is a great running quarterback. He will be the leading rusher for the Calgary Dinosaurs on this field today. He's rushed for 470 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Jason Aston was the starter for this team for 5 games. When Kalin returned, he said the move wasn't necessarily well received.
It was a little adverse at first. I was not the only change. There was some changes in the defense. Our starting safety, Roger Ryanson, was moved to a linebacker. And the team was a little bit skeptical at first because, you know, we were undefeated at that point in time, and we felt that we had, you know, a good, strong team unity and a good, strong offense and defense. So a little bit of adversity, but everything turned out for the best.
The Varsity Blues feature the strong arm of Mario Storino.
Mario Storino, a big quarterback, 6'4", 220 pounds. The impressive stat that Bob Lako loves is the TD to interception ratio, 20-8.
Well, don't look for him to throw from side to side. This is a guy who likes to throw deep and often. He wants it all, and he wants it now.
Well, I think it's easier to throw vertically. You know, you just pick a spot, and you know, with guys like Glenn and Francis, you can run the ball down and just put it up as far as you can, and you know, they run under it, and it's exciting to do. You know, but I'm just as comfortable throwing stuff underneath as well.
Now turning our attention to the running game. Sean Ladder was injured in the Canada West Championship game against Alberta. Chris Lewis steps into the breach.
Yeah, Chris Lewis is a rookie, and you know, they haven't missed a beat with him in the lineup, and that's a real testament to Calgary's offensive line. 1 year ago, Chris Lewis was playing in the Calgary City High School Championship game. Today, he's in the Vanier Cup.
You try really hard not to think about the size of the game and how enormous it really is when a year ago I was at the level that I was at, because being as young as I am, the nervousness factor can play a big part, and if I treat it as just another game, then I can try and single that out a little bit. But when I do think about it, it's truly exciting. It's definitely the biggest sports moment that I've had in my life so far.
The key to the Toronto backfield, the versatility of Brad Muxlow.
Unusual to show receiving stats for a running back, but he has more yardage receiving than he does rushing. When they get down close to the end zone, look for Mario Storino to throw him the ball. 6 touchdowns already this year.
As the Concordia Stingers found out last week, Muxlow receiving out of the backfield can be a lethal weapon.
We primarily try and get me out on either gold or red coverage when it's man on man, and that's where we look for a mismatch and have a linebacker chase me. And you know, if he's on the ball, he'll be right on top of me, and then Mario looks downfield, it's gonna be one-on-one. But if it's just mostly man-on-man situations, and there's an odd time in the zone, flood of zone, and that's my pattern usually, and just I'm the outlet man.
Muxlow keys the short situations when Toronto looks deep. It looks to Francis Etienne.
Nobody pushes down the field better than speedster Francis Etienne. Look at that average, 30.5 yards per reception. Absolutely incredible.
Etienne and McCausland, the two deep threats for Toronto. We asked him how they get open deep so often.
Basically, we try to look for man-to-man coverage. There's a lot of man-to-man, and we know that we have the speed advantage over most of the DBs because we are a fast club. So that's basically all we look for.
Last year, Calgary wide receiver Mike Freiter was an All-Canadian. This year, his numbers down a bit.
Down a little bit, but still maybe the smartest receiver on the field today. He's not a big play guy. He's more of a possession receiver, but he has great moves and a great head.
Now, with Jason Assen and John Kalin sharing time at quarterback, Freiter has had to make some adjustments.
The main difference is they're different quarterbacks style-wise. John will run around and get the ball to you. It may take a little longer because he's scrambling out of the pocket, and for me, that's fine with me because I think I can find the open space. And with Jason Assen, he'll sit in the pocket and he'll deliver the ball on time, and so I'm confident that he'll put the ball up no matter what.
All right, Jamie, there are the key players offensively for both teams. Who do we focus on for each team?
It has to be undoubtedly both quarterbacks, Mario Storino for Toronto and John Kalin for Calgary. Both players are going to have to come up with their biggest games of their lives in order to win today.
Spoken like a true quarterback. Let's go back to John Black.
All right, the Vanier Cup kickoff now about 37 minutes away here at Skydome. You know, for most of these players, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and it's always a great time with university football in the spotlights for a week.
Vanier Cup week began with a football skills challenge for the media, sponsored by Frontier College and Reed Canada. Events included passing accuracy, a 3-on-3 competition, field goal kicking, and fielding punts. Of course, there's all kinds of hardware to be given out this week, and the festivities began Wednesday at the Coach of the Year luncheon. The 1993 recipient of the Frank Tyndall Trophy was St. Mary's coach Larry Utek, who led the Huskies to a 7-1 record this season. Next up, it was the London Life CIAU Awards Thursday night, which featured the top individual players from across the country. Concordia's Paul Chesser won the J.P. Metras Trophy as the CIAU's top lineman, while Acadia's 17-year-old wide receiver Jerome Pathan got the nod as the top rookie. U of T linebacker Lou Tiro won the President's Trophy as the nation's best defensive player. while the Heck Crichton Award for the most outstanding player went to Western Ontario running back Tim Tyndale, who also won this award in 1991.
It's a great honor to win this award. I'd like to thank my family, my girlfriend Jen, for all their support. I'd like to thank all of our coaches, in particular Greg Marshall and Larry Haler, for teaching me all I know about the game. Most importantly, though, I'd like to thank all of my teammates. Without those guys, I couldn't accomplish anything, especially that offensive line who did a great job all season. Thanks.
And finally to Friday, where a luncheon was held to present the TSN Russ Jackson Award, given to the player who best combines athletics, scholarship, and citizenship. The winner for the second year in a row was the quarterback of the St. Mary's Huskies, David Sykes.
I only hope that it is what Russ Jackson had in mind when he agreed to have this award given in his name. He knows that commitment does not end when the game is over. The Russ Jackson Award should exemplify that it is important to give back more than one takes. That each of us has a responsibility and a duty to our community.
Huskies quarterback David Sykes is not the only all-star on the sidelines. 23 schools from coast to coast began this quest for this Vanier Cup. Just 2 remain now. 3 hours from now, University football in Canada will crown its new champion. Live from Skydome, this is Vanier Cup 93.
'88, the final Vanier Cup game played at Varsity Stadium in Toronto. The Calgary Dinosaurs roll over the St. Mary's Huskies to win their 3rd national championship in 6 years. The Dinosaurs established themselves as the team of the '80s.
Calgary's Peter Cannellan has had a remarkable run as a football coach. He won the Vanier Cup twice in his first 3 years as the Dinosaurs head coach. 1989 was his last, and the Dinosaurs are definitely in position to win for the first time in the 90s. Time for a closer look now at the Vanier Cup offenses. Let me bring in Leif Pedersen and Pat Sheehan. From their vantage point, it's way down here at Sidelines. Leifer.
All right, Wellesley, thank you very much. Once again, yes, back at Sidelines. Great place to watch a football game this afternoon. You know, Pat, as I watched Calgary play last week, so many stars on that club. Roger Reinson's interception, James Buchanan. But you know what? I thought the real key to them last week, their victory, was the running of quarterback John Kalin. Can he do it today again?
I believe that he can do it, Leif. I think he's an outstanding athlete. He's very mobile. He's got quick feet. He's on the carpet. Toronto plays a lot of zone. I think there's going to be some opportunities for him to run the football.
Now, you know, before the game today, you told me U of T only likes to run 4 people, or rush 4 people, rather. Can they contain him?
Well, that's going to be one of the challenges. That's going to be one of the interesting relationships that's going to develop in this football game. If the defensive line can contain him, they will eliminate one of those weapons from Calgary's arsenal.
Let's talk quickly about U of T's passing attack. I know it's a bit of a nightmare for you, but they could put some big plays up quickly, can't they?
Well, there's no question. Francis Etienne and Glenn McCausland are 2 big play guys that have come through for Toronto all year. Unfortunately, they were fairly spectacular last weekend, and if they can do it today, it's going to be a big factor in Toronto's success.
Well, I don't think there's any question there will be a lot of pressure on the Calgary defense. We've talked about all the offensive players in the game today, but the defense will have a say, certainly, in the outcome. Let's take a closer look at both defenses.
I think with most offenses, you have to look at the offensive line, and they've probably been overlooked. Toronto's offensive line, they're big and they're very experienced. They've got an experienced quarterback, so we really have to be on the ball in terms of what we're going to be doing defensively in terms of covering the pass and the run.
Well, I think looking at Calgary and what they do offensively, it's a situation where, you know, they can pass the ball really well, they can run the ball really well. They do just about everything really well. So I'm not so sure that you can really focus on any one specific element of their game. I think you have to sort of take the defensive approach that you have to be able to play versus any particular aspect of their game at any time during.
Well, we play an attacking defense, and we're always moving upfield, and good things always happen when you get upfield.
I think our defensive line is going to match up well because we play against fairly heavy teams in the OUAA as well, and Concordia also had a big line, so I think we should do well against their line, even though they're fairly large.
Well, I guess it's the quarterback rolling out either way.
like I said, very agile, and we're just going to have to try and contain him as much as possible because he could pass at any time, and more importantly, he could run the ball at any time.
We're going to try to put some pressure on this quarterback because just from watching the Concordia film, we've seen what he can do when he's been given time. And, I mean, they've got a lot of speed players. We've got to play a lot of man coverages and just be aggressive pursuit of the ball because they've got players that can, if they break one tackle, they're looking at 6 points.
Plan to be very physical. Plan not just to hit them, but to hit them so hard that they're going to say, you know, what just hit me? You know, was that a football player or was that a truck?
Well, yes, it is tough because what happens is the game becomes more like touch football out in the backyard where you have to go wherever the guy goes because normally they have their set pattern. And then once he starts scrambling, they can do anything. So you just basically have to keep your eye on their waist or their abdomen and go for there and hopefully just wait for the whistle to go.
You're all alone, and when you get beat or if something should go over your head and they catch a deep ball, everyone knows in the crowd that you got beat. And the way you got to beat that is you got to be aggressive. You got to be confident with your abilities and just play it tough.
We're live from Skydome, and as Vanier Cup tradition dictates, the alumni gets a chance to jump back into the spotlight and relive days gone by. Those days of university fun. It's been a long time between victory marches for the fans and alumni of the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. From Skydome, this is Vanier Cup 93. We continue on the Vanier Cup pregame show. About 24 minutes to kick off now for the Toronto Varsity Blues and the University of Calgary Dinosaurs. Today's coaches have a great passion for the game. Between them, Peter Cannellan and Bob Lako have been part of the Vanier Cup victory party 5 times. Cannellan has won 3 as a head coach. Lako celebrated 2 while he was an assistant at UBC. Lako looks for his first as a head coach today. Cannellan for an unprecedented 4 wins in 4 tries.
Well, we really liked it at Varsity Stadium, and I guess primarily it was just the most efficient use of time. By practicing here, we saved probably a half hour going and coming each way with the bus, and all the rigmarole of trying to get in and out of the building, and all that could add to more useful time either in class for our players or in meetings before practice here.
Well, I think one advantage that they might have is the fact that they're familiar with it, with the crowd noise, with the turf, with the playing conditions, with the temperature. Those are factors over which we don't have any control, and until you face them, you don't know what effect it's going to have. And so they at least know what to expect, and I'm sure have addressed some of those problems that are created by special circumstances.
Whatever it was really, in a way now, I have to be very thankful for, because it certainly has allowed us, or been a small part of allowing us to achieve what all these players have strived for the 6 seasons I've been here, and finally we're in the Vanier Cup. Due to the players, obviously, and the coaches, and the friends of Varsity Blues football, and the university. That's, I guess, the most important part of the whole thing.
John will probably play some defense early in the game, so he gets the feel of things, and he knows what's happening. And as he fatigues, we will start to take him out of the defensive game plan and then put him in at certain situations where we think we want him. So it's going to be quite a flexible approach to John in this particular game.
A couple of players to watch today. First, number 37 for Calgary, Chris Lewis. He is a freshman in the true sense of the word. 1 year and 1 week ago today, he was the starting running back for his high school team in the Calgary City High School Championship. Now he starts for the Dinosaurs in the Vanier Cup at Skydome. Chris Lewis, just 18 to say the least. It has been quite a year. He is a player to watch. And then there's number 14 for the Varsity Blues, Brad Muxlow. This will be his final game. Brad spent 4 years on the team, mostly backing up. This year, he became a starter at last. He has made the most of his opportunity, and he too will be a factor in today's game. Just 2 players of 80 who will get a chance to play for the most coveted prize in Canadian university sports.
The kickoff to this year's Vanier Cup is 20 minutes away. Canadian college football players are young men who are student athletes. These players are students first and athletes second. These players represent all areas of our country and are a credit to college football, and more importantly, a credit to their university and community. These players are a part of Canada's future. Enjoy the game.
You're watching TSN, the sports network.
Canada's student athlete is a very special breed. The ability to deal with all the commitments to one's chosen institution demands true dedication. For a university football player, his 5 years of sacrifice hopefully pays off in the ultimate reward. A chance to play one final time for a national title. Your last game.
There's nothing more you could possibly ask for than the opportunity to play in a championship game. It's an opportunity to add to the great tradition at the University of Toronto. It's an opportunity for you guys to play like hell one last time as a group. Then you have the opportunity in front of you to accomplish something that you'll remember for the rest of your lives.
You've worked very hard. You've accomplished all your goals up to this point in time. And the final goal is something that you control, that you can do something with. We have to go out there and do it.
I really haven't thought about it being my last game yet, because I think if I do that, then I've accepted that perhaps this is the end, and I'll dwell on that, and I don't want to do that. I want to stay focused and stay up for the game, and perhaps after, I know after, there's going to be some real time to look back and to see what these 5 years have meant to me.
It has its ups and downs, but football's always been there, a part of my life, and it's been a lot of fun. And to where it's ending off now, it's kind of a bit of relief, a lot of joy, a lot of fun, and something I'll always hold close to my heart.
Today, the last game is the biggest game of all. The 29th Vanier Cup is next. The CIAU on TSN. Today, the Vanier Cup. The 1993 Vanier Cup is brought to you in part by Geo. Get to know Geo at your Chevrolet Geo dealer. And by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi.
1 week ago in Halifax, it's Calgary and St. Mary's for the second straight year, looking for a Vanier Cup berth in the Atlantic Bowl. The Dinosaurs jump out to the early lead. They're already up 9-3 when Chris Lewis plunges into the end zone. 16-3 Calgary. St. Mary's has trouble moving the ball against the Dinosaur defense. David Sykes is sacked while trying to scramble. But the Huskies' special teams keep them in the game. A bad snap to Bruce Parsons. The punt is blocked, and the race is on for the loose ball. St. Mary's corrals it in the end zone for the touchdown, and the Calgary lead is cut to 6, 19-13. Third quarter, the Huskies take the lead for the first time. Charles Ash takes the short pass and takes it all the way, a 48-yard pass and run touchdown, and St. Mary's leads 23-19. But Calgary cuts the lead to 1 with a field goal, and then comes the play of the game. James Buchanan fields the punt on his own side of midfield. He breaks tackle and breaks the hearts of the Huskies. The 74-yard punt return for the touchdown puts Calgary back on top, and the Dinosaurs won't look back. Calgary adds another late major to get revenge for last year's Atlantic Bowl loss to St. Mary's. Final 37-23, and the Dinosaurs are headed to the Vanier Cup. At Skydome, it's Toronto and Concordia in the Churchill Bowl. Toronto gets off to the quick start. Mario Storino completes the swing pass to Brad Muxlow, and the fullback takes it 31 yards down to the Concordia 2-yard line. On the next play, Dave Richer busts through the line and into the end zone. 8-0 Toronto early. Still in the first, Mario Storino finds Francis Etienne open. He completes the 55-yard pass and run touchdown. 15-0 Varsity. Second quarter, Toronto driving again, but Storino fumbles the snap at the 1. Sean Leroy picks it up and appears to be heading for a 109-yard touchdown. But suddenly he glances over his shoulder and sees Glenn McCausland bearing down. McCausland gets him at the 5, but Concordia scores on the next play to cut the Toronto lead to 5. It doesn't stay that way for long. Murray Sopko hauls in the touchdown pass from Storino. 24 yards. Toronto leads 22-10. And the Blues defense protects the lead in the second half. Linebacker Lou Tiro steps in front of this Denny Pitzella's pass. And Toronto wins the Churchill Bowl 26-16 to advance to the Vanier Cup for the first time since 1974.
Live in Skydome, the University of Toronto Varsity Blues faced extinction in December and found the Dinosaurs in November. It is a remarkable turnaround as we get ready for Vanier Cup 93. Here's Gord Miller.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Skydome and the 29th Vanier Cup.
Bonsoir, mesdames, messieurs, et bienvenue à la finale pour l'obtention de la Coupe Vanier 1993.
Introducing the starting offensive lineup for the Churchill Bowl champion Toronto Varsity Blues.
Permettez-nous de vous présenter l'offensive de l'Université Varsity Blues de Toronto.
At center, number 68, Joe Tassoni.
Le centre, le numéro 68, Joe Tassoni.
Left guard, number 55, Peter Vasilis.
Le garde à gauche, le numéro 55, Peter Vasilis.
Right guard, number 54, David Scandifio.
Le garde à droite, le numéro 54, David Scandifio.
Left tackle, number 62, Young Yul Kim.
Le bloqueur à gauche, le numéro 62, Young Yul Kim.
Right tackle, number 58, Bruno DiMichel.
Le bloqueur à droite, le numéro 58, Bruno DiMichel.
Split end, number 25, Francis Etienne.
L'ailier espacé, le numéro 25, Francis Etienne.
Tight end, number 72, Murray Sobko.
L'ailier rapproché, le numéro 72, Murray Sobko.
Wide receiver, number 76, Glenn McCausland.
Le flanqueur, le numéro 76, Glenn McCausland.
Slot back, number 12, Scott Mitchell.
Le demi inséré, le numéro 12, Scott Mitchell.
Fullback, number 14, Brad Muxlow.
Le centre arrière, le numéro 14, Brad Muxlow.
Running back, number 35, David Richer.
Le demi, le numéro 35, David Richer.
And the quarterback, number 11, Mario Storino.
Et le quart arrière, le numéro 11, Mario Storino.
Head coach Bob Lako and the rest of the Churchill Bowl champion Toronto Varsity Blues.
L'instructeur-chef Bob Lako et les autres champions du Churchill Bowl, le Varsity Blues de Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the starting offensive lineup for the Atlantic Bowl champion Calgary Dinosaurs.
Et maintenant, l'offensive des Dinosaurs de l'Université de Calgary.
At center, number 49, Haldor Thorkelson.
Le centre, le numéro 49, Haldor Thorkelson.
Left guard, number 46, Brian Welpley.
Le garde à gauche, le numéro 46, Brian Welpley.
Right guard, number 61, Harold Anderson.
Le garde à droite, le numéro 61, Harold Henderson.
Left tackle, number 56, Ben Fairbrother.
Le bloqueur à gauche, le numéro 56, Ben Fairbrother.
Right tackle, number 66, Ron Meyer.
Le bloqueur à droite, le numéro 66, Robin Meyer.
Wide receiver, number 8, Mike Freiter.
L'ailier espacé, le numéro 8, Mike Freiter.
Wide receiver, number 25, James Buchanan.
L'ailier espacé, le numéro 25, James Buchanan.
Slot back, number 24, Ryan Williams.
Demi inséré, le numéro 24, Ryan Williams.
Slot back, number 20, Don Blair.
Demi inséré, numéro 20, Don Blair.
Fullback, number 88, David Evans.
Centre arrière, numéro 88, David Evans.
Halfback, number 37, Chris Lewis.
Demi, numéro 37, Chris Lewis.
And the quarterback, number 18, John Kalin.
Et le quart arrière, le numéro 18, John Kalin.
Head coach Peter Cannellan and the rest of the Atlantic Bowl champion Calgary Dinosaurs.
L'instructeur-chef Peter Connellan et les autres champions du Atlantic Bowl, les Dinosaurs de l'Université Calgary.
The journey to the Vanier Cup has taken the Calgary Dinosaurs from Calgary to Halifax and back and then to Toronto. It has taken the University of Toronto Blues a couple of 8-mile round trips to make it from campus to Skydome this afternoon. Coming up live on TSN, Vanier Cup 93. The Vanier plays the Sky Dome for the 5th straight year. The Dinosaurs are back for the first time since '88. Peter Cannellan looking for his 4th title. The Varsity Blues for the first time since 1974. This matchup looks like a natural, and it's nice to see a few Varsity Blues alumni in the stands at Sky Dome. The Calgary Dinosaurs will beat the underdogs this afternoon, although really no one is picking anyone to win this football championship by too many points. Two evenly matched teams getting ready to put it on the line at Sky Dome. Ready now for the national anthem, and let me introduce Spirits of the West. This past October, Canada lost a national sports hero when Queen's University legend Frank Tyndall passed away. There was perhaps no man more responsible for laying the groundwork for what the Vanier Cup and Canadian university football are today.
Coaching at Queen's was a great experience and enrichment to my life. I met so many wonderful people and saw so many kids go on to success in their various fields. I don't agree that winning is everything. To me, trying to win is the most important thing. It's not detrimental not to win. It's detrimental not to try.
Today, TSN is proud to dedicate the 1993 Vanier Cup to the memory of Frank Tyndall. Frank's Queen's Golden Gales will relinquish their crown today. Two great schools, the Calgary Dinosaurs and the University of Toronto Varsity Blues, will compete for the 29th Vanier Cup in the spirit of Frank Tyndall. The kickoff is next. Welcome back to Sky Dome. We have a bird's eye view of the official coin toss for the 1993 Vanier Cup. Who's going to do what? Well, I don't know if we can see if it's heads or tails from that vantage point, but we will soon find out. Blues had the option. They will receive. The Dinosaurs will kick off, and we are just about ready to begin action in the 1993 Vanier Cup. The game ball arriving at Sky Dome from the very top of the roof, propelled down in spectacular fashion. Dale Creighton performs the ceremonial kickoff, and we'll turn it over to the football players now. University of Calgary Dinosaurs and the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. And we'll turn it over to Gord Miller and Jamie Bowman.
All right, thank you very much, John. The Calgary Dinosaurs trying to become the second university to win 4 Vanier Cups. The University of Western Ontario is the other. The Toronto Varsity Blues bidding for their first Vanier Cup championship since they won the first game back in 1965. Bob Lako, their head coach, is the son of former NHL great Hal Lako. Bob has been to the Vanier Cup before 4 times as an assistant with the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds. His opposite number, Peter Cadellan, on the Calgary sidelines, has never had a losing season. Bruce Parsons will kick it off for the Calgary Dinosaurs. The Varsity Blues have elected to receive.
And electing to receive is Glenn McCausland and also Francis Etienne, Gord. And we have to remember this year that U of T have returned 3 kickoffs this year for touchdowns, so they are very dangerous in their kickoff return team.
Both these teams have outstanding special teams units. Last week, James Buchanan returned a punt 74 yards for a touchdown against St. Mary's. And the 29th Vanier Cup is underway. Francis Etienne from his own 15-yard line. Still looking for room to run, doesn't find much as he gets down to the 23-yard line. The tackle was made on the play by Gene Stahl. And Mario Storino will check into the game as the starting quarterback for the Varsity Blues. This is his numbers from the Churchill Bowl last week. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. 20 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions.
And what a story for Mario Storino. Was a starting quarterback a year ago, but in the opening game against University of Waterloo went down with an injury, was replaced, of course, by Eugene Buccigrassi, who won the Heck Crichton Trophy last year. But he got the start this year and has not disappointed.
And on the first play, we have an injured Calgary Dinosaur hurt on the opening kickoff, and injuries have been a problem for these two teams. We mentioned that Sean Latter, the star running back for the Calgary Dinosaurs, was injured in their Canada West victory over the Alberta Golden Bears. He has been replaced by Chris Lewis, and there were 2 injuries of note to the Varsity Blues last week, the most significant being Glenn McCausland, but also Francis Etienne was shaken up as well.
And in addition to that, Scott Mitchell, their slot back, was hurt and was doubtful for today's game, but is starting.
Kevin Thurm is the injured Calgary Dinosaur. An amazing story about him. He played for the Dinosaurs in Vanier Cups in 1983 and 1985. Came back this year to play football with the Dinos, and Peter Cadellan brought him to the Vanier Cup game.
And he's one of the guys that's been telling all the players in the Dinosaurs this year that when you get to the Vanier Cup, make sure this is where we have to go when we go to eat, because that's what we did in years past.
The Blues with the first possession. And last week against Concordia, they went over the top quickly. And Storino to throw. And look at this. He's looking over the top, had a man open, but the pass falls incomplete. He was looking there for number 70, Dave Forma.
Good group of backs and receivers for Toronto. Of course, Mario Storino, David Riche coming back off an injury, Brad Muxlow, the speedsters at the receiver spot, McCausland and Etienne, and Scott Mitchell at slot back. Offensive line, a good group led by David Scandifio, the All-Canadian.
2nd and 10 now for Toronto. Opening possession of the Vanier Cup. Fake to Riche on the draw. Storino flushed out of the pocket, can't find an open receiver, and is thrown down hard to the turf by Rob Richards. The ball came loose, but they'll rule Storino down as Rob Richards got in and threw Storino down hard.
Rob Richards at the beginning of the season was playing defensive end. They have him playing defensive tackle now because of an injury. They bring the linebacker Nightingale, number 44. That flushes Storino out of the pocket, and then Richards is there. Calgary coming into this game at 18 sacks.
And Richards, a guy who missed all of last season for Calgary. So he comes back and opens this Vanier Cup with the first sack of the game. Lou Tiro, the outstanding defensive player in the country, a linebacker and also the Varsity Blues punter, gets this one away from about his 6-yard line. A low spiraling kick taken by Mike Freiter at midfield. And Freiter does not get much as Brad Muxlow is down early to help out with the stop, along with Barry McCamus. John Kalin comes into the game as the starting quarterback and safety. He had 1 interception as a defensive player and threw 1 as a quarterback. He started 5 games for the Calgary Dinosaurs this year. Jason Assen started the other 5.
Those are great numbers coming out of a big game such as the Atlantic Bowl in Halifax, over 300 yards passing. There's a lot of weapons that he can throw to.
And is a threat to run the ball as well. 1st and 10 from the 52. Here is Chris Lewis. The rookie running back has room outside. Gets down to about the 43-yard line, a gain of 9.
Now, interesting what Toronto are doing on defense right away, Gord. They're going to what they call a flex defense. This is the defense they put in specifically for University of Western Ontario because of the inside trap. You see how Kiedis and also number 69, Richard Fisher, the All-Canadian, former All-Canadian, they are in 2-point stances, backed off about 2 yards off of the football. A good run by Chris Lewis, the freshman, coming in replacing injured Sean Latter.
It was a gain of 9. Make it 2nd and a long one. And Lewis this time might have been stopped short on a good defensive play by Barry McCamus. What kind of postseason has this guy had? He recovered a fumble at the goal line by Laurier, recovered a fumble for a touchdown against Western, and an interception the following week against Concordia.
Andrew Stinson was the starting outside linebacker, but McCamus's play has put him in there. Again, U of T going to a full stand-up defensive line. Now they're getting down into the 3-point, 4-point stances because it's short and 3rd and short.
3rd and inches. And Kalen drove straight ahead, appeared to be stopped on the initial surge. There was a quick whistle, and we'll see where they spot the ball. But it appears he does have the first down. Just.
Yeah, I think he does have it, Gord.
Bob Butler is today's referee from Nepean, Ontario, working his 4th Vanier Cup game, an experienced crew of officials from across the country. And it is indeed a first down as the quarterback, John Kalen, took it straight ahead.
Good surge by the offensive line, but I tell you, U of T's defensive backs, or excuse me, linebackers did a good job of stopping Kalen. A quick whistle. He gets the first down.
So we saw Toronto try over the top, and we see the methodical Calgary Dinosaurs on their opening possession. Kalen to throw for the first time. Has it knocked down and scoops it up. They might have rolled out a fumble, and Kalen falls on it back at his own 53-yard line.
It's a case of the
ball. Sorry. Kalen had the ball knocked out of his hands, and it rolled around dangerously.
John Kalen averting disaster here. Goes to throw, it just slips out of his hand. The ball's a little bit greasy. He doesn't really have any kind of tackiness to it right now. A brand new football. I'm sure his hands are sweating. We talked about how it's so dry in here and the players start to sweat. He just downright mishandled the ball. It slipped out of his hand.
Half of a Statue of Liberty play there. Brings up 2nd and about 21. Kalen. Oh, quickly looking for his fullback, David Evans, but he got rocked by Lou Tyrrell. And that's why Tyrrell won the President's Trophy as the outstanding defensive player in the nation.
And what's a bit surprising, they're trying to throw the screen to Evans. Evans only has 3 receptions on the season, not used primarily as a runner or a pass or a receiver, more as a blocking back. But Lou Tyrrell, his experience coming from that linebacker spot, delivers a shot to David Evans and says, welcome to the Sky Dome.
And like about a dozen of the players in this game today, Lou Tyrrell playing his final game of university football. Here is Bruce Parsons with the punt. He just gets it off. Glenn McCausland from his 18-yard line. And nothing doing for McCausland as a great defensive play is made by Calgary's All-Canadian Colin Newman.
That is a great job on the kickoff coverage of making sure they contain McCausland, do not allow him to get outside. Front 7 for the Dinosaurs, led by Trent Schmulen. He's their best. You'll see maybe Ron Meyer there at right end as well, with replacing Dan Juremovic. Defensive secondary. Colin Newman is the All-Canadian, but Brian Baker may be the best hitter in that defense.
And they toss it outside. Here is Richer looking for room to run. Gets away from the first. The ball is loose. A fumble, and the Dinosaurs have it. Calgary football at the 17-yard line as Richer was unable to hang on. And Chris Penner, the 5th-year player, and a Canada West All-Star for 4 straight years, has a Vanier Cup trophy.
Bob Blanco is a real student of the game, and he realizes that if you turn the football over, the other team will score 40% of the time, whether it be a touchdown or a field goal. You can see that Richer is holding the ball in the left hand. That's the correct hand, but he just loses it as he's going down.
Mike Nightingale, the linebacker, forced the ball loose. 1st and 10 now from the 16-yard line. Lewis again. What's happening there? And stepping up to make the stop once again was Barry McCamus.
Now, I think that's a bit of a lack of experience on behalf of Chris Lewis, because they ran that counter tackle trap with both Wepley and Fairbrother pulling. He's got to pull it inside. Let's take a look at it here. They're going to bring both here and here across the formation here and block it. Lewis has got to take a step here and then come back inside here, but instead he takes it outside.
Back to the live action. Kalen into the flat, has a man open, and it's a touchdown. Don Blair. So the turnover, as you mentioned, proves to be costly. And Kalen finds Blair for a 17-yard touchdown, and Calgary is on the board first.
Don Blair, a former player for the Regina Rams and at a Notre Dame high school in Saskatchewan. He came into this game replacing Craig Furlong, who was hurt earlier this season. Don Blair making a nice catch, giving a little bit of shades of Deion Sanders. Prime time.
Parsons puts the convert through, and the Calgary Dinosaurs have struck first. You're watching the 29th Vanier Cup from Skydome. From Notre Dame, best known for turning out hockey players, comes Don Blair, who catches the first touchdown of this 1993 Vanier Cup game. Let's go down to Rod Smith.
All right, thank you, Gord. And Don, big plays, turnovers often decide a football game.
Our defense is just unreal. That was a huge play. Gave us great field position, and, I mean, we scored. That's all it is to it.
Just briefly, your comment on the University of Toronto so far, just by the first couple of series.
Oh, this is going to be a game of just read and react. Like, they don't know much about us. We don't know much about them. We're going to just have to make changes as we go, and the team who can adapt the best is probably going to win the game.
Thanks, Don. Now let's go back upstairs.
And the headband says it all. You got to believe, and you got to believe the Calgary Dinosaurs get a big lift from the opening touchdown. You know, the last three Vanier Cup champions had all played in Skydome before, and if you go by that record, Toronto would have the advantage here. But it's Calgary that strikes first, and sort of a U of T-like drive. 2 plays, 16 yards, and Blair with the 18-yard touchdown catch. But the danger, of course, for a team like Toronto with the big play offense is that if it doesn't click, you can find yourself in a hole early.
And Toronto is a team that have been down in games in the past and have come back to win it. So even though things have gone bad for the Varsity Blues early in the football game, don't count them out yet.
Kickoff is taken by McCausland at the 18-yard line. McCausland had some room outside, cuts it back in. Still going, and is finally brought down as he's dropped at about the 34-yard line, and that's where Storino and the offense will begin their third possession after the last one resulted in the fumble by David Richer.
Interesting this week about University of Toronto, Gord. They had a chance to practice in here in the Skydome, but they decided not to. They said they would practice outside in their own practice field, and there was a lot of mud in the practice field. I feel that Bob Lako felt that it would be better for them to practice there because it was more familiar to them, and they could get better work done.
On first down. They fake to Richer. Torino has time, looking for Etienne, who makes the catch and has room to run. Francis Etienne inside the 40, still going, and knocked out of bounds. At the 28-yard line, Etienne makes the catch and then makes the run.
And look who forced him out of bounds. It was John Kalen playing two ways at safety. We talked about Etienne's speed going deep, but when he comes back for the football, he does a nice job of working back to his quarterback.
A gain of 48 yards.
And he gets around Rob Schrout, and now it's a foot race, and John Kalen, who may be the fastest player on the UFC team, just forces him out.
And he was just out of bounds. 1 foot. So the big play strikes first. 1st and 10 Toronto from the Calgary 28. Richer down to the 20-yard line. Tackle made by Chris Penner. How important is it to get the ball back to Richer after the fumble?
Well, I think it's important for his confidence, but secondly, that was a great play call because UFC had everybody up inside. They're blitzing inside. They run the ball off tackle. That's why there are no linebackers into that secondary area.
Gain was 8, make it 2nd and 2. And we've got the makings of a shootout at Skydome. Full house backfield. Richer again fights his way up for first down yardage back to about the 17-yard line, which is where they'll mark his forward progress. And Bob Butler indicates first down Toronto.
The University of Calgary defensively like to play a lot of man coverage, and people coming into this game thought that that could be their downfall. David Richer didn't play high school football. He's out of Ottawa, Ontario. Played for the Ottawa Norsemen. Not a very big player, but very quick feet.
And a guy who puts up big numbers. 1st and 10 now from the 17-yard line. Storino looking for the end zone and Murray Sobko, but Sobko couldn't quite bring it down. It was kind of between receivers down there as Sobko was going after it along with Glenn McCausland.
I think if you're Mario Storino and you're in this type of game, this is the kind of game I think that you would like, where you have defenses playing man coverage against you, because that way you don't have to worry about throwing into zones. You just have to be able to pick out the receiver, hope he can beat the defensive back. Bob Lako giving some signals to Mario Storino, sidelines.
Nice average again for Storino, who last year averaged 27.5 yards per pass. To throw again. Back to the corner. Jim can't squeeze it. He was working down there on Rob Schroff, but Etienne, at the 48-yard gain earlier, couldn't make the catch on the goal line this time. And we will see the U of T field goal unit.
It's a good case in point about a wide receiver making sure he uses his hands. Storino puts a lot of mustard behind that football. You've got to use your hands, not try and cradle it into your body. That way he gets the rebound off of it, and Etienne loses what looks like could have been a sure touchdown.
And in steps Stuart Brindle for an attempt from about the 23-yard line, second in the OUAA in scoring. And a chance to get his team on the board. And so right after the Calgary touchdown, Toronto comes back with a field goal. You're watching the 29th Vanier Cup live from Skydome on TSN. It's a great place to watch a football game, and Leif Pedersen and Pat Sheehan are in Sightlines Restaurant. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Gord. You know, Coach, Calgary gets the big turnover early, scores a quick touchdown. How important was that field goal for U of T to get back into this one?
Well, Leif, I think it was critical for Toronto to have a good series, not even to score, but it was very important they could establish themselves, regain their confidence, and get down the field. To get the 3 points in addition, I think, was a bonus.
Yeah, it really was. Okay, Gord, we're off to a pretty good start here in this first quarter.
We certainly are, Leif, and it'll be interesting to see at what point the nerves don't become a factor anymore. And Brad Muxlow, number 14, I'm sure has a few butterflies like everyone else. And Leif, it certainly is a factor playing under these conditions for most of these players.
No question, I think, Gord, when you're coming into a game of this magnitude, it's tough to shake the butterflies off, because you're always knowing, especially in a close game, as Bob Lako talking to his coaches upstairs in the booth. You can see he's kind of give some hand signals, a little bit of direction.
Mentioned that Bob Lako patrols the sidelines for the Varsity Blues. Peter Cannellan does not for Calgary. He's up in a spotter's booth right next to us. So Calgary now, after a touchdown on its last possession that was set up by a turnover, will go back to the offense. And we are halfway through the first quarter. We have not yet seen a penalty in the football game. And that is often characteristic of championship games in the early goings. The players get nervous and start jumping offside and the like. We have not seen that so far, and we have not seen much of a break for John Kalin, who was the safety for Calgary in that last defensive series. Right back out as the quarterback, and he gives the ball to Chris Lewis, and he gets nailed. Dropped in his tracks by John Halkitis, who turned in a big play in the Yates Cup game, forcing the crucial fumble by Western, and here he stuffs the Calgary running attack.
That's just a great job by the defensive line of U of T. You can see Lewis's head gets snapped back.
Halkitis, the cousin of Bob Halkitis, an NHL player with Toronto and now Detroit. No gain, they call it. 2nd and 10. Kalin to the flat. Has it out there to Don Blair, and Blair has the catch, but he's short of the first down by about 4 yards.
That's what U of T are going to have to be very concerned about, is John Kalin's ability to get outside. Calgary did a good job to let Kalin get outside and have a clear view to Blair downfield. But again, a good fill by number 50, Barry McCamus, who's really come on for this U of T football team.
And Bruce Parsons will be back to punt. A 33-yard average this season for the entire year. Has been strong in the postseason, though, and here comes another high kick taken by McCausland at the 34. McCausland looking for room to run, but he is dropped in his tracks Another great special teams play turned in by Andrew Monroe. Let's go down to Rod Smith.
Well, guys, some bad news for the Dinos' Kevin Thurm in his final game anyway. That game is over. He was injured on the opening kickoff, torn knee ligaments. He was part of the Dinosaurs' victory way back in 1983. Not a way he wanted this Vanier Cup to end for him.
10 years ago at Varsity Stadium, he was celebrating a Vanier Cup championship. Today, he will watch the rest of this game. No point going to the hospital now. He can wait a few more hours and see how his team does. The Blues begin 1st and 10 at the 30. Serino back to the air, brings it down, and now looks over the top, has a man open. And look out, away they go. A gain of 28 yards as John Nardi makes the reception. And yes, Super Mario is rolling.
John Nardi in to replace and spell Scott Mitchell at slot back. Mario Storino shows great poise in not drilling that ball, but throwing it over the linebacker's head and right in there to John Nardi.
Just 4 catches coming into this game for the entire season. But Scott Mitchell was injured last week in the Churchill Bowl game, so Nardi will see plenty of action. This time it's the draw play to Richer. And Richer has plenty of room to run, close to first down yardage. He's brought down at about the 43-yard line. And again, John Kalin up to make the stop.
This is one of the problems you have when you play man coverage in the secondary. Nobody's really looking into the backfield at all to see what's going on. They're all playing man. Storino goes back, gives it off to Richer. Now Richer starts to read everything and cuts it back outside, trying to use his speed. You can see some good blocks. But look who comes up with the tackle again. Quarterback John Kalin, playing safety.
And a good block, too, by his fullback, Brad Muxlow. A gain of 9 makes it 2nd and 1. The Blues are rolling again. Richer. And Richer has the first down and more inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Another Blues first down. And how ironic that Toronto almost grinding the ball now as you expect Calgary to do.
I think it's interesting, Gordon, you talk about that because everybody says U of T is such a big play team, but Richer and Muxlow both combined this year to have close to or just a little bit over 1,000 yards rushing, so they do have the ability to run the football effectively.
First down from the 38. 3.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Storino quickly over the middle, and Sobko was nailed as he tried to make the reception, and the big tight end remains on the turf. Murray Sobko, another 5th-year player for the Blues. Had a touchdown catch last week in the Churchill Bowl victory over Concordia.
Storino looking over the middle to Sobko.
And it was Kalin who got him with the helmet. Well, John Kalin's been a busy guy today, and Sobko grabbed his back as soon as he went down.
It's very close to being a penalty here because you cannot have as the initial point of contact your helmet.
Well, that was a spear under that rule.
No question, right in the back of the kidneys.
Well, can you imagine if they call a severe spear? It's a disqualification from the game. I don't think any referee would throw John Kalin out of the Vanier Cup. Can you imagine having your starting safety and quarterback disqualified? And Bob Lako looks on with concern as Murray Sobko, a key player for this team, not only short possession type catches, but also deep because he's a track star, remains on the turf.
And the reason they have that rule in there, Gord, is not so much for the person that's getting hit, it's for the person doing the hitting to protect them. I'm sure Peter Canellan has to hold his breath every moment when he sees John Kalin out there making hits.
Let's go to Vic Rudder.
With Professor Rob Pritchard, who is the president of the U of T, and boy, what a difference, yes, as they say, a year can make, because a year ago we were talking about the demise of this football program, and today, of course, we're looking at a Vanier Cup championship.
The Blues are back. They're playing terrific football. They're a great bunch of student athletes, and they're having a ball today. We got a big crowd out from the university. It's terrific to be back.
How much effort went into it? I know the alumni had to get together. Has it been a cooperation?
The alumni did a great job. The students did a terrific job. And the university's tried to do its part to help as well. But the credit goes to the players, to the coaches, and the alumni.
Professor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, the Sobko backers will be happy to see that the tight end got up and ran off the field. So some of the Blues were saying about injuries, heck, you got all year to get them better now. And I think we'll see Murray Sobko back. Sets up a 2nd and 10 situation now as the pass fell incomplete. And here's Torino again under pressure, looking for room to run. Now throws it over the middle to Etienne, and he makes the catch in traffic. And who made the stop? Guess who? Sean Kalin.
The advantages of having a quarterback that has a strong arm is Etienne going down, running inside, Colin Newman covering him. Storino flushed out of the pocket, delivers a strike.
A guy who averages 30 yards of reception gets a key first down there. To the 23-yard line. The Blues threatening once more. Storino inside this time on the in route to Glenn McCausland, and McCausland makes the grab. Short of a first down, he's got a gain of about 6.
A bit surprising right now, Gord. They seem to be going after Colin Newman, the corner on the right side. He is the All-Canadian from the University of Calgary. Mary Storino 3-step drop, and then he drills it. Doesn't look like a pretty ball, but it's right on the money for McCausland. And again, Colin Newman comes down with the stop.
And that could be a dangerous tactic. Newman comes in with 6 interceptions on the season. Calling a gain of 7 at 2nd and 3. Empty backfield, and Storino rolling to his left. And nobody there. I think he was looking for McCausland, and I think he was surprised that McCausland broke in because he threw the ball out.
That's exactly what happened. He was looking at McCausland doing a hook, and then I think he was supposed to slide outside. This has to be very frustrating for U of T when you're down close and you only can come out with a field goal. Big, strong quarterback, 6'3", 210 pounds. Played at Humberside in the city of Toronto.
And engineers another drive that will set up a field goal attempt by Stuart Brindle. This one from 23 yards out. This to pull the Blues within 1. Brindle's been the story so far for the Varsity Blues, and with a minute and a half to play in the first quarter, Toronto has cut the Calgary lead to 1 at the Vanier Cup from Toronto. Calgary has scored the only touchdown of the game so far. The Dinosaurs leading Toronto by a score of 7-6, and Toronto has had the decided advantage in total offense so far. Let's go back to sightlines with Leaf and Pat.
All right, thanks very much, Gord. You know, Coach, a lot of the pro teams that come in here tell me that dehydration is really a problem. The airflow in here, there just isn't any of it. Did it bother your team last week?
No question. It had a big effect. Towards the end of the first quarter, a lot of our kids were complaining that they felt really heavy and sluggish, and that definitely had something to do with the dehydration factor.
Well, we'll look for that later on in the ball game. Let's right now go down and join Vic Rauter at field level.
With Francis at the end, as we told you, bothered by turf toe to start the game. Some nice catches to get you close. You're in that red zone that football teams talk about, but you can't punch it in.
You know, we're working hard. They're playing us tough defense. Eventually, you know, the holes are going to open up. So, you know, we're just trying to get in there, you know, working hard at it.
And it's been interesting as well. The team is running the ball as consistently and well, when most people figure you strictly got a passing attack.
Hey, we have a good balanced attack. We have some good running backs, some good old linemen who could open up the holes. You know, as I said, everybody's working hard, and sooner or later, something's going to open up for us.
Francis, thank you.
All right, thanks very much, Vic. And we'll keep an eye on John Kalin with the dehydration factor, a guy playing both ways. 1st and 10 from the 35 for the Dinosaurs. Here's Kalin to Freiter. Freiter gets away from the first tackler and has a first down up at about the 48-yard line. Dean Turner came over to make the stop.
And this is vintage Calgary offense right now. When you have the defensive backs like Devonish and Andrew Lang, they're all backing off. Freiter just goes down about 7 or 8 yards, makes the catch, turns around, and then he works his feet upfield. And this is how Calgary like to move the football. They are not necessarily a big play team. They drive the ball on you.
An All-Canadian in 91 and 92. Freiter a key part of the offense. Kalin again to throw on first down. This time the pass intended for Don Blair is over his head, and Blair was double covered.
Again, Toronto continue to stick with that flex defense. No down linemen, all 4 about 3 yards off the ball.
And that might have been tipped by linebacker Dave Henderson. I think he did get a hand on the ball.
Yeah, I think maybe Blair might have been glad it was tipped because there are 2 guys right there to lay a licking on him.
So it brings up a 2nd down from the 49 with 40 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Both teams have moved the ball well. Kalin middle. And Ryan Williams, they rule no catch. Williams jumped up in some tough traffic, and again, Dean Turner was there to provide the defensive coverage.
Dean Turner, he was the all-conference defensive back in the OUAA. Kalen delivers a pretty good ball here. Right in traffic, you see Lou Tiro comes across, Dean Turner. They brought Dave Henderson on the blitz.
Second big hit by Lou Tiro. And Bruce Parsons to punt. Had some trouble with the snap. Remember, he had a punt block last week, but this one is great. High and deep down to McCausland at the 28. And again, McCausland just can't get going as the Calgary special teams have been nothing short of outstanding. Let's go down to the sidelines and Rod Smith.
Well, thank you, Gord. There are a couple of hundred people at least here from Calgary to watch the Dinos, but one important fan is not. Karen Cannellan, the daughter of head coach Peter Cannellan, is ill back in Calgary. She was at all 3 Vanier Cup victories for her father, and some members of the Cannellan family just want to say, wish you were here.
And we certainly add our sentiments to those. And you see Peter Cannellan on the left, the head coach of the Dinosaurs, who watches the games from upstairs. What do you think of that, Jamie? It's kind of an interesting strategy. You get the great view, but you don't get a chance to communicate directly to your players.
I guess he feels that there's a lot of distractions at field level, and he doesn't want to really be bothered by those. And he can help his team much more effectively by being upstairs and seeing what teams are doing in terms of defense and offense.
And here is a bad sign for the Varsity Blues. Glenn McCausland shaken up, returning this kick, and some of the fans here thought he might have been hit late. 1st and 10, Toronto from the 34. The Blues have moved the ball well. They haven't been able to score. And look out, here he comes again. Brad Muxlow through the line has another Toronto first down.
It's a great inside trap that they're going to run here to Muxlow. We just take a look at it right in here. They're going to run the ball right in through here. They're going to take the center away, and then they're going to trap inside here. You can just run that. Bang, right inside. This is a play that they had great success with last week as well against Concordia.
And that play brings to an end the opening quarter here at Skydome as the Varsity Blues trail the Calgary Dinosaurs by 1. We'll return for the second quarter of the 29th Vanier Cup in just a moment. It's the Vanier Cup from Skydome in Toronto, and the Varsity Blues on the opening play of the second quarter have a first down at their own 46. Storino up to the flat to Muxlow. The play that worked so well last week against Concordia works well here again as he's close to a first down at midfield.
That is just a tremendous throw by Mario Storino, hitting Brad Muxlow on the fly. Play action pass going to his left. Now he's got to get a shoulder around and deliver a strike. Nice over-the-shoulder catch. Then Muxlow works to get his shoulders upfield. Rob Schrouth coming in to make the stop, just short of the first down.
It's interesting because Muxlow's so fast, you can't cover him with a linebacker, but he's tough enough that defensive backs can't really bring him down.
And that's a frozen rope that Storino throws right there. That's well-executed play.
Gain of 8, make it 2nd and 8 from midfield. Back to the ground to Richer, who has the first down and more. Richer! Touchdown! On 2nd and maybe a yard, David Richer goes 55, and Toronto takes the lead. So the man who fumbled earlier atones with a touchdown.
David Richer does a nice job here. Again, you know, they're trying to run things inside, and they pull the guard right here across. They get the block. They give it to Richer. He busts it through right in here. Really nice play. Now he finds a hole, and now it's a foot race into the secondary. David Richer, known for his quick speed when he gets into the secondary. 6 points.
And Grady Stevenson, who plays safety when John Kalin takes a breather, was the man who got faked out. And David Richer has the go-ahead touchdown for the Varsity Blues. Let's go down to Vic Rauter.
David Richer, congratulations. What a run, and it makes up for the fumble, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's a great run. The line did a good job. Brad cracked down hard. they over pursued and I cut back inside.
How much did it mean to get the ball back very quickly after you had fumbled?
Very much. I got hit hard on a fumble, but this really makes up for it.
UT Blues are in front. It's 13-7.
Just keep it up.
So David Richer, what a tremendous moment for him after we mentioned the nightmarish fumble that set up the Calgary touchdown. He goes 55, and now the Varsity Blues, where they love to be, in the lead, and now they can run and gun.
And a great block by the left guard, Peter Vasilis. Super job on pulling and allowing David Richer to get into the secondary.
And the kickoff is taken short by John Linares, and Linares fights his way up across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Barry McCamus up to help make the stop. Toronto scoring drive, typical. 3 plays, 76 yards, and Richer with the touchdown run. And talking about numbers, here they are from the first quarter. Look at the net yards. Toronto 130 to just 46 for Calgary. So the Dinosaurs have been held in check. Remember, their only touchdown was scored when they were set up at the 16-yard line. So the Dinosaurs trailing by 6 here. Early moments of the second quarter. And Caleb will go right to the air. As a man over the middle, James Buchanan, and Buchanan has a first down before he is buried by a blue wave at the 45-yard line.
Buchanan, the other half of that receiving core on the outside. Both Mike Freiter and James Buchanan drafted by the Calgary Stampeders a year ago. Freiter in the 7th round and James Buchanan in the 8th. Kalen delivers a nice strike to Buchanan right in the hole.
And dragged down by about 8 members of the Varsity Blue team.
That's when you want to go down. You don't want to be taking all those shots.
They mark his progress up to the 49-yard line. Kalen for Freiter, open, and the pass goes through his hands, and Freiter goes up and over an advertisement outside the sideline.
Now, it looked like John Kalen had some room to run outside. I think we're going to start to see him do that a little bit because U of T are having trouble containing him. Mike Freiter jumps right over the side.
All-Canadian twice. This year his numbers are down, but that's more of a reflection of the diversity of the Calgary offense and the kind of season he had. Second down from the 49. They fake the draw to Lewis. Here's Kalen on the run. Back to the flat. This time they look over there for Don Blair, and he cannot make the catch as Dean Turner comes over to provide the defensive coverage. So after the Toronto touchdown, it's 2 and out for Calgary.
This is a catch that Ryan Williams should have had. I mean, there was so much behind that pass that John Kalen threw. I think it's kind of surprised Williams. Got to catch those in the hands. Can't take them off your body.
So Parsons back to punt.
Parsons been doing a nice job of keeping the ball nice and high so it allows Calgary to come down and cover it.
And here's another high punt. McCausland under it at the 34, and it bounces out of bounds. No flag on the play. I thought no yards might have been called there. McCausland was pretty close to it, but the Calgary Dinosaurs might have got away with one there. And they tucked it over the sidelines. We'll be right back to the Vanier Cup. Celebration on the sideline of the Varsity Blues, who lead this game by 6 with just over 12 minutes to play in the second quarter. For more of their thoughts on the game, let's go back to Sightlines with Leaf and Pat.
Thanks very much, Corey. That was a heck of a touchdown run by David Richer. Now, Jamie illustrated a pretty good block by the left guard, David Vasilis, but you're only as good as your lead blocker so many times. Every running back will tell you that. And Brad Muxlow right here, number 14, watches. He comes right up through the hole. Chris Penner is there. He gets the kick-out block, and Vasilis cleans up, but then for Richer, it's off and running net. You can't draw it up on the blackboard any better than that. A beautiful touchdown run. Varsity Blues take the lead. Gord?
Well, we expected big plays from the Blues. We didn't expect them to come that way. Most of theirs have come through the air from the arm of Mario Storino. Storino's had some big gains, but Jamie, both quarterbacks have been victimized by drops here early on.
They have, actually. John Kalen is playing very well to be able to throw the ball as effectively as he has on the run. It's incredible. His receivers just have to start hanging on to the football for him.
Here's Mario Storino so far, 4 of 10 for 98 yards. No touchdowns for him so far, but you can bet on almost every series he'll take at least one crack at the end zone. His team starts 1st and 10 from just inside the 35-yard line. And Storino under early pressure gets away. Still on the run, throws it out there. There is nobody there. And again, now the flag comes down late. Storino flushed out of the pocket, threw a ball that no one was even close to.
Now Mario Storino just trying to get rid of the football. And he's trying to explain to the official that, well, hey, maybe my receiver ran the wrong route and he's supposed to come back. Did you ever think of that?
11, second down.
The first penalty call of the game comes with 11:56 to play in the second quarter, and not surprisingly, it's intentional grounding.
Well, they bring the blitz from the backside. You can see number 32, Brian Baker, coming from his halfback spot, forces Storino outside. Now, they had Etienne running a deep route down the field. Storino's just trying to get rid of it. You don't see any receivers in the picture at all. A proper call by the official.
Brings up a 2nd and 20 now. And if there is a team that has a 2nd and 20 play in the playbook, it's probably these guys. 3 receivers to the right side of Storino. That's where he wanted to go. He got flushed out of the pocket. Again, he's on the run, but he won't get far. Storino is buried very quickly. Chris Penner up to help make the tackle. And defensive pressure by the Dinosaurs is a problem now for Storino.
And plus, they're doing a great job in the secondary right now because no one was open, and Storino wants to go to his initial receiver. Trent Schmulin in his face. Now he tries to cut back, and I'm sure that Bob Blako holds his breath every time he sees Mario Storino getting sacked. Scott Tuffling, the backup quarterback, has only thrown 7 passes all season long. Chris Penner in there at a Beaver Bray High School in Kenora.
School that gave us a number of well-known athletes. Dave Van Bellingham of the Argos, decathlete Mike Smith, and there was actually a parade of players who followed Penner here to Calgary from Kenora after hearing of his success.
And also center Haldor Thorkelson.
Lou Tiro's punt, a low driving effort taken by Buchanan just outside midfield. He does not get far as he's dropped up and about the Toronto 54. Dave Henderson goes down to make the stop. Here's Rod Smith.
Thank you, Gord. I'm joined now by the Director of Athletics for the University of Calgary, Dr. Robert Corin. And Bob, a nervous Director of Athletics right now?
It's a very good game, though. It's a great game.
Tell me about the football program, the University of Calgary, with 3 championships in the 80s. I would think that has really helped uphold, in addition to the swimming program, great reputation at Calgary.
Well, we're really proud of the football program. It's been very successful, and you know, as has the swimming program, as you point out. It's just something that we can really build the rest of the athletic program around.
Much excitement in Calgary about this game.
Oh, a great deal. There are a lot of people down here from Calgary, and I know there are a lot at home watching it on TSN.
Keep pacing the sidelines.
Yes.
Gord.
Chris Lewis was the ball carrier there. Tom Hips makes the stop. You know, a lot of the credit for the success of the Calgary Dinosaurs over the years has to go to the outstanding Calgary high school football program.
No question. I think St. Francis High School in particular with Gary DeMann, who produced all those great players, a number that are playing here this afternoon. Chris Lewis being one of them.
Gain of maybe 3 at 2nd and 7. Kalen to run. Has room and should have the first down as he gets down to about the 42-yard line. So Kalen takes off. And he is finally tackled by Brian Devonish, but not before he moves the sticks for a Calgary first down.
This is the added dimension that John Kalen gives you. When he gets outside, he sees an opening, it's sprint out pass. Now watch David Henderson, number 45, the linebacker. He comes up here thinking he's going to have a great hit right here, and he just misses him altogether. He got up shaking his head saying, where did he go?
A first down at the 42-yard line. And this time the drop play to David Evans. And Evans has a gain of about 5 as he fights his way down to the 37-yard line. Jumping up to make the tackle was Dean Turner.
We did a game earlier this year between Calgary and University of Alberta. And David Evans, really the unsung player for this Calgary offense, is a great blocker, but does not carry the ball very much and is not really involved in handling the football at all, either through pass receiving, but an outstanding blocker.
And he blocked last year for the leading rusher in the CIAU, Craig Kittleson. On second down, Kalen's going over the top. Flags are down. There's a man open, but Don Blair can't make the catch. And now another flag comes down as there was some activity after the whistle. And we'll see what referee Bob Butler has to say about all this. So we know what the dinosaur mascot has to say about the Blues. Here's Butler's call. There was a quick flag just as the ball was thrown, and then a late flag after the whistle. And they're talking to the Toronto captains. And the indications are it's against the Calgary Dinosaurs. Now, interesting decision here because the ball is spotted at the 37-yard line. Parsons could try a field goal if they decline the penalty.
Holding. Calgary number 61 is declined. On sportsmanlike conduct, Calgary number 56, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Ben Fairbrother is called for unsportsmanlike conduct after Harold Anderson is called for holding. They waive off the 10-yard holding penalty and take the 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct call.
And that's a huge penalty for Calgary. It takes them out of Parsons' field goal range. See, that's a flag for holding. But then Fairbrother gets called for objectionable conduct.
So that takes the Dinosaurs out of field goal range for all intents and purposes, and the Blues want timeout as Parsons comes into punt. And they did not have their punt return unit there. And we'll try to listen in on the Toronto sideline and see what they're thinking.
Okay, now listen. Okay, we want our punt return team on the field. Okay, our punt return team. Richard, you're off. Yeah. Hey, Brad, we want punt defense, return right.
Lako had his kickoff defend or field goal defense team in there and wanted his punt return squad in, so he was forced to call timeout. Now on the Calgary sideline, there has to be concern about the sputtering offense.
There has to be some concern. I think, you know, John Kalin is doing a fairly good job at quarterback right now, putting the ball there, trying to take things into his own hands, but he needs to have some help from his running backs and also his receivers holding on to the ball.
Parsons, a third-year nursing student. Something you don't see often in CIAU football games. And an honor student at that. To punt from about his own 50. Etienne and McCausland are deep for Toronto. Another high spiraling punt, trying to angle it out of bounds. And they'll mark it up at about the 23-yard line, so not overly deep, and Toronto will start its next possession from there. The Varsity Blues leading by 6 in the 29th Vanier Cup. November 24th, the NHL's toughest position to play. TSN looks at the role of the coach in the NHL today, and a fascinating look it is, from the taskmasters to those who must try to develop their younger players. For the love of the game, TSN's award-winning documentary series returns Wednesday, November 24th at 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain. And after a 24-yard punt by the Dinosaurs, Skydome not looking like Jurassic Park right now. Here's how these teams got here. Calgary defeated Alberta in the Canada West Championship, then St. Mary's. Toronto, you might say, almost lucky to be here. Laurier fumbled on the Toronto goal line in the final minutes, down by 7. And then Toronto recorded its first win in London against Western since 1975. And here's the distance that the Blues have had to travel in the last couple of weeks. About 10 kilometers, and I think that's return. Calgary just over 10,000.
But when you look at travel time, 21 minutes by taxi, 17.5 hours by plane. But I swear, the taxi fare probably equal what the plane fare was here in Toronto.
Tell me about it. Serino with the toss to Richer, and Richer fights his way up to about the 28-yard line, spotted as a gain of about 4. Trent Schmulin up to make the stop for Calgary.
You have to wonder right now whether or not Calgary's defense is a bit surprised at how well Toronto would run the football against them. David Richer getting most of the work for the U of T Blues. We haven't really seen much of Brad Muxlow. We've seen him catch a ball, and he's run the trap inside once.
Gain of 5 at 2nd and 5. Here comes the reverse to McCausland. Needs a block. He has it and has room to run. Up across the 30 and brought down to the 35-yard line. He should have the first down, and McCausland with his 9th carry of the year, averaging just over 11.5 yards per carry.
They want to get the ball to McCausland as much as possible. They get it outside to him right here. But I tell you what, this is a great job done outside by number 22, Rob Schrouth. Turns it back inside, and then Schrouth makes the tackle. Nice job. That play could have gone for big yardage.
McCausland, 5'6", 165. They call him the Squirrel. And they can also call him Mr. Everything because he does it all for the Varsity Blues. Over 100 yards rushing for a wide receiver. Gives his team a first down, and Storino. Had time for a moment, but Trent Schmulin was patient, forced up the middle, and makes the sack.
That's what you call a coverage sack, or downfield again. Storino looking to see, but U of C's defensive backs, Newman, Baker, Jeremiah, and Schrouth are doing such a great job that Storino has to come off his primary receiver and doesn't have enough time to look for another one. He's got Trent Schmulin in his face. Trent Schmulin this year, 5 sacks coming into this game. One of the strongest players in that U of C defense, bench pressing over 415 pounds.
So he could bench press us. 2nd and 18 now. Storino quickly over the middle, and the pass falls incomplete as he was looking over there to John Nardi. And Nardi got his feet tangled up as he tried to make the reception.
And there was a mix-up there because both Muxlow and Nardi were going to the inside. Almost ran into one another. And
you know, it's interesting, Jamie, we were talking to some of the Toronto players the other day about playing at home in the Vanier Cup and talking about the advantage of that. Mario Storino was saying, what advantage? I've got to go to class, I've got to do the dishes, I've got to take out the garbage. He says, I bet the Dinosaurs aren't doing that this week.
He's right about that. Dinosaurs had 3 practices in the Sky Dome. Well, U of T decided to stay outside.
Lou Tiro back to punt for Toronto. And Calgary should get decent field position with the clock running at 6:10 to play in the second quarter. Tiro's low driving kick taken by Buchanan at the 40. Turns around and gets up to about the 50 before he's finally brought down. So Buchanan twisting and turning before Dave Henderson makes the stop, and Calgary will start from about its own 50. So far, John Kalin, 4 of 10 for 55 yards and a touchdown, but that was a lot of offensive production early in the first quarter, and there hasn't been much lately because his receivers have dropped a lot of football.
And that's a story right there, Gord. 4 of 10 doesn't look like very impressive, but he has been playing better than that as James Buchanan looks to be shaken up a little bit coming off the field.
Buchanan just returned that punt and was twisted somewhat awkwardly, but appears to be all right. Yet another Calgary native. Does anyone have more homegrown talent than the Dinosaurs?
He was on the U of C team that won in 1988, did not play in that game.
Kalin completes it to Freider, and Freider almost broke loose. He's brought down at about the 50-yard line of the Blues, and that'll be close to a Calgary first down.
He is one of those great moves.
And as James Buchanan left the field, let's have a look at what happened to him.
See a face mask there the officials missed, and that's what he was concerned about coming off the field.
Alex Nayar, a backup linebacker, got his hand in the face, and he might have stuck a finger in Buchanan's eye. And this will require a measurement as Freider is close to the first down. In fact, he has it. So the Dinosaurs into Toronto territory with under 5.5 minutes to play in the second quarter.
And this is the kind of thing that John Kalin should continue to take. Brian Devenish, defensive back for U of T, is playing well off of Mike Freider. They should continue to take that 8-9 yards every time if Devenish is going to give it to him. And at De La Salle High School in Toronto.
And Devenish again is playing about 8 yards off the Calgary receiver. This time the give is up the middle to Evans, and not much doing there as he stopped for a gain of perhaps a yard.
And one of the best defensive players in the nation has to be Richard Fisher. He was the Metris Award winner back in 1991. He was injured all of last season, but he's a real force to be reckoned with. 6'4", 260 pounds, playing in his last collegiate game.
The Metris trophy goes to the outstanding lineman in the CIAU. Last year injured his knee in training camp. Gain of maybe 2. It's 2nd and 8. Kalen over the middle as Don Blair. Blair still running and is dropped at about the 40. Actually ran back to make it a close call for the first down. He had it easily until he took a couple of steps backward.
That's a good call by John Kalen, because in 2nd down, they're just having 2 rush linemen down. Halkitis backed off. He's in a 2-point stance. You see Tiro lined up, stacked over the nose tackle. Kalen is showing great patience, waits for Blair to get into the zone. Blair, using his smart, just stops when he gets in the zone, does not try to run through it.
It was a first down at the 39-yard line. Clock running down to about 4 minutes as Calgary now mounts an offensive charge. Fake to Lewis, and Kalen has all day.
Should run.
And was looking for Blair, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Andrew Lang. Kalen had all day and all kinds of room. Instead, he throws an interception to Andrew Lang, who snuffs out the Calgary threat.
This is one I'm sure that John Kalen wishes he had back. He had an offensive lineman out there with him. He must have had about 20 yards to run if he wanted to run it. And one of the cardinal sins playing quarterback is never throw back against the grain unless you're John Elway. He gets outside here. Ron Meyer's with him. No one in your screen. Now he throws back across the grain. Andrew Lang's there.
He was looking there to Ryan Williams, but the pass was well over his head. And there's an injured Calgary Dinosaur down on the field. Let's go down to Vic Roeder.
Andrew Lang comes through with the interception when it's needed most.
Definitely. They had our backs against the wall, and luckily they forced him to throw a bad pass up and just threw it right at me.
Listening to some of the coaches talk to you on the sidelines, linebackers and defensive backs, they want you to play a little soft, fearing that Kalen's running, but can you play him too soft?
Our defense has always been predicated on bend but don't break. We'll give them the short yards every single time. They need a lot of passes, a lot of runs short to make a touchdown. So eventually we're going to force something bad and take the ball away.
All right, Andrew, congratulations. Thanks, we'll tell you also, fellas, that Stinson hurt his ankle. It's an ankle that he twisted before, his left. They're going to bind it up, and he'll be out again.
And you see the injured Calgary Dinosaur, Ron Meyer, the offensive lineman who was in front of John Kalen. He got into a mix-up after the pass was thrown and appeared to twist his knee.
They could not afford to lose Ron Meyer. He was an All-Canadian a year ago and Calgary's best offensive lineman.
This is a guy who's been a starter in all 4 of his years at Calgary.
I remember when Ron Meyer was a rookie, came in at about 225 pounds. Now he weighs 285 at a Notre Dame secondary school.
So the Blues scrimmage 1st and 10 from their 10, and Serino comes right back throwing complete to McCausland, and McCausland is dragged down by Colin Newman, who bulldogs him to the ground. A gain of probably 9 yards. He'll be just short of the first down.
Well, when you go to tackle most guys, as Newman has done, they're usually a lot bigger, so when he goes and tries to wrap around the shoulders, all he's going to get is part of McCausland's head.
So Storino not afraid to throw from any part of the field, and last week he put a ball up that appeared to travel about 70 yards in the air. Today already he has about 115 yards passing, and they did spot that gain short of a first down, and straight ahead is Storino, and we'll see if he got the first down. And indeed it is marked as the chains move. And Toronto, with 3:02 remaining to play in the second quarter, has another first down and an opportunity to add to its 6-point lead in the 29th Vanier Cup from Skydome. The sightlines with Lee Penderson and Pat Sheehan.
Thanks very much, Gord. Well, the University of Toronto Blues have played a great first half on defense, and you know they must have seen all the big plays that Calgary made last week against St. Mary's, and you've seen a pattern develop on defense.
Well, there's no question, Leaf. I mean, they keep everything in front of them. They're a strict zone team. They get help in the seam from their outside backer. They don't want to give up any big plays. So that's what they've done all year.
Yeah, maybe not surprising that their leading interceptor on the season, Andrew Lang, comes up with a big one to snuff out a Calgary scoring drive. Gord?
Yeah, Andrew Lang, a guy who had a pair of 2 interception games this year.
And a good point by Pat Sheehan, because if you look at the Toronto defense, they were 6th in the OUAA out of 8 teams in defense. They didn't have a lot of points scored against them. They gave up a lot of yardage in between the 20s. They are a bend but don't break type of team.
Reminiscent of a defense that we'll see tomorrow in the CFL. The Calgary Stampeders employ that same offensive theory.
You think it's hot? Excuse me, Gordon. You think it's hot in here? That's Trent Schmulin. outplaying defense. That's one of the concerns Peter Cannellan had coming into this game was the temperature. Calgary been practicing in sub-zero temperatures out west, and then coming into this building, it's a big change, and it's tough in 3 days to get your body acclimatized.
It's also pretty smoky in here from some fireworks and fog that were used in the pregame ceremonies. First down, Toronto from the 21-yard line. And it looks like a mix-up in the Toronto backfield. Storino off and running, and Storino gets up across the 30 to about the 32 and might have a first down, but there was clearly some confusion in the backfield.
And all of his offensive linemen are saying, hey, listen, Mario, you're not known as a runner. What are you doing? Storino again looking to number 1. It's not there. Now he does a nice job of stepping up in the pocket and avoiding a couple of UFC defenders. Tries to straight arm somebody there.
And the big men up front say it may have not have been drawn that way, but hey, we'll take it.
But it shows you the kind of pressure that Calgary are getting on Storino. He does not have the luxury to sit in the pocket and find a secondary receiver. And UFC right now, University of Calgary doing a good job at taking Storino's primary receiver away.
We mentioned that offensive line for the Toronto Varsity Blues. Young-Yul Kim, who just coming off a knee injury, is the injured player on the turf for Toronto. While we have a break, let's go down to Rod.
Well, you talked about the injury to Ron Meyer and how big a concern that would be to the Calgary Dinos. He is all right. He twisted his left ankle in a seam in the turf, but they are taping him up now, and he's expected to be out shortly.
So they give them the quick tape job, and Young-Yul Kim remains down on the field for the Toronto Varsity Blues. And depth at offensive line has been a problem for both teams, but in particular Toronto.
In particular for Toronto, when you look at Calgary, one of the advantages they've had all year long is they've remained relatively healthy. Even though they are not an experienced offensive line, they have a lot of players in second year, and Fairbrother in his first. Ron Meyer is the veteran.
Coming up on TSN, it's induction ceremonies from the NHL Hall of Fame. Hockey honors its own at the NHL Hall of Fame induction ceremonies Monday at 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific, here on TSN on Monday. So Storino had the first down, and Toronto scrimmages at the 33-yard line with 2.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Storino with all kinds of time to throw is looking deep for McCausland. And McCausland was battling down there with Colin Newman, and a flag is down. Oh, my goodness.
When I first saw that flag, Gord, I thought it might have been offensive interference on McCausland on Newman, because Newman had position. McCausland may have interfered with Newman going for the ball.
And the call is going against Calgary.
Pass interference, number 7, Calgary.
Wow.
15-yard penalty.
The All-Canadian Colin Newman is called for pass interference. Let's have a look.
That's a tough call. I'm not so sure about that one. I thought Newman played that perfectly. Good position, playing the ball. McCausland's the one who gets his arms on him inside. Now, remember, in college football, that is not a first down where the infraction takes place. It's only a 15-yard penalty.
But still, with 2:19 to play in the second quarter, it's a big penalty because Toronto now scrimmages 1st and 10 at its own 48-yard line. Back to the ground, Riche, and this time they do a good job bottling him up. As jumping up to make the tackle is Dan Jeremiah, and he got some help that time from Dan Uramovic. Dan Jeremiah, number 12, is an interesting story for the Calgary Dinosaurs. All 3 of his brothers, Mass, Elio, and Bruno, played for the Calgary Dinosaurs and have Vanier Cup rings. So when they take the family picture, he's the only one who doesn't have a Vanier Cup.
Well, actually, Elio played for UBC when they won the Vanier Cup.
That's right.
So a lot of pressure on Dan Jeremiah.
He's had a good year, 2 interceptions and a couple of quarterback sacks. He's the player they like to bring on second and long situations. And this would be one of them, 2nd and 8. Here comes the halfback blitz, and Jeremiah is coming as well as Storino runs for his life. He's got lots of room, a first down into Calgary territory. And he gets dropped at the 45-yard line, but not before Storino, surprisingly enough, has another rushing first down, and he's almost equaled his season rushing total.
Well, we thought Caleb was going to be the quarterback to watch on the rush, but now it's Mario Storino. Again, the defensive backs for Calgary doing a nice job of trying to cover. You can see they come with a blitz outside. That was John Kalin, the quarterback for University of Calgary, flushing Storino out of the pocket. Now Storino, not used to running. You can see he switched the ball. This is when you got to learn how to hook slide.
He did make a mistake because he ran right into Chris Zaharka, who hung a pretty good lick on it. Now from the shotgun, Storino to McCausland. And the quick hitch nets maybe 5 as McCausland does a great job to scramble ahead.
Now U of T have to get into their hurry-up mode with only 1:09. The clock will not stop. The referee will whistle it in right now. But they continue to huddle. Storino looking to the sidelines for guidance from the coaching staff as time continues to tick down.
The minute flag goes up. The gain was 5, 2nd and 5 from the 40. Gets it away from pressure. He was looking over there for John Nardi, but the pass was a one-hopper, and Storino got nailed as he threw the ball.
Calgary like to come after Storino a lot of different ways. We've seen it already with the inside safety. They like to bring the outside linebackers, as they did that time with Chris Penner. They're getting a lot of pressure on Storino right now.
You get down and lick somebody. Come on now.
So it brings up a 3rd and 5. This is likely not within the range of Toronto field goal kicker Stuart Brindle, and Lou Tiro is out to perform the punting duties for the Blues.
Stuart Brindle's longest field goal this year was 33 yards. This would be a 48-yard.
Mario Storino showed us something on that drive with a couple of rushing first downs. Now, remember, Calgary has very dangerous return men. And Freider and Buchanan are back. Buchanan had a punt return for a touchdown last week. Here's Freider from the goal line. Freider can't get through the initial wave. A flag is down as Freider got up to about the 12-yard line with 35 seconds to play in the first half.
Now this is a situation where Toronto, using that timeout earlier in the game, could be important, because if they have 2 timeouts with 35 seconds, and this is a penalty against Calgary, as it is, they could in fact get the ball back in good field position, but they did use that 1 timeout, so Calgary should be able to run out the clock to win the half.
And the Dinosaurs better, because they have the ball down now at their own 3-yard line as a result of the illegal block. 35 seconds to play. Calgary down by 6, but you'd have to think the Dinosaurs would be very happy right now to go to the dressing room down by just 6. The clock will begin to run when the ball is snapped. Kalen dangerously for Freider. Oof. That pass was very nearly picked off, and he threw it into traffic, but Freider makes the catch.
And you have to ask the question, why? It's 29 seconds left. Unless you think you're going to be able to drive 120 yards in 29 seconds, I don't understand this. That is dangerous.
John Zaran almost made the interception, and you know he was thinking about it as he went lunging for the football. And now 26 seconds to play here, and timeout, Toronto. Boy, John Kalen's had a busy half. He's blitzed the quarterback. He's made a knockdown. He's made some good tackles. And, oh, yeah, he also plays quarterback for the Dinosaurs.
That's right.
Oh, did I mention that?
Yeah.
Vic, what do you got for us?
Well, Mario Storino, as you suggest, has run more in this game than he may have the entire season. That's a little different for you.
Well, you got to do whatever. Once you get this point of the season, you got to do whatever you got to do to win the game. That's all I'm doing.
Well, certainly, you're up 13-7. You know, really, that if you don't give it up, don't give up the fumble, you're leading this 13-0.
Well, that's true. And, you know, sometimes those things happen, but the important thing is the way we bounced back, and we're able to capitalize and score 13 points off. So, that was
thank you.
Can I say hi to Norm Calder, buddy? This is for you. Hurry up, get back.
Okay, well, thank you.
2nd and 4. Kalen will throw again. This time looking for James Buchanan. The pass falls incomplete with 20 seconds to play. Kalen's down, but the incompletion stops the clock.
That's crazy. I don't understand this at all. Toronto are going to get the ball back in relatively good field position with 20 seconds left.
Outstanding field position. If you think that Parsons gets off even a 45-yard punt, Toronto is just a couple of yards away from being in field goal range.
This is incredible. Kalen getting outside. The completion takes a big shot there by number 41.
Parsons from his end zone.
On Raposo.
And Toronto has 11 men on the line. Here they come. Parsons gets it away. Not a bad punt. McCausland lets it bounce at about the 40. Picks it up there, jumps ahead, and fights his way down to the 32-yard line. So with 8 seconds left right now, this would be a 39-yard field goal attempt, but Toronto will be able to run a play.
They will be able to run one play here, Gord, and no matter if there's only 1 second left in the clock, they'll be able to put their field goal team on the field and attempt a field goal. This would be, they need a little bit more yardage to get into Stuart Brindle's range. But if Toronto score here as a coaching staff for University of Calgary, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions at halftime, like why?
And Toronto not taking any chances. Brindle comes in right away to try the field goal. From 38 yards, this would be his longest of the season.
This might be a good time to run a fake, because even if you don't make it, you still get another chance to kick the field goal.
Always thinking. You're always thinking. And Calgary kind of got caught a little flat-footed there as they had their normal defense in there. And John Kalin, the quarterback, would have been back to receive that field goal had it missed. And Peter Connellan does not want to see John Kalin returning any kind of kick. He can play safety, he can play quarterback, but they don't want him taking shots at returning kicks.
That's playing with fire when you put John Kalin back there. You want to try and protect him, I think, as much as possible. You want him on defense for his coverage skills, not for his hitting skills, even though he has been doing a pretty good job. Trying to ice Stuart Brindle a little bit. 18 of 28 field goals this year he hit.
A rare look into the life of Mario Lemieux, the magnificent one, appears on TSN. The authorized video biography of one of hockey's greatest players comes your way Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. A rare look into the life of Mario Lemieux, and here's a look at what could be the longest field goal attempt of the year by Stuart Brindle, unless Toronto decides to fake it. They're on the level. Brindle puts it up, and good. 3 points that Toronto likely shouldn't have had will they be the difference. It's now a 16-7 lead for the Blues with 4 seconds to play in the first half. And Jamie, I think it's fair to say that the Blues stole 3 there.
And you know, there's some similarities, Gord, when you go back to the 1989 Vanier Cup. With the dying moments of the first half, Saskatchewan tried in their own end, 3rd down and short with less than a minute to go. Did not make it, gave Weston the ball, and Weston scored a touchdown.
Yeah, no problem. Brindle says they should let me try more of those.
It's the longest field goal of the year.
And this time, Kalin will simply drop to one knee with now 3 seconds to play, and they'll do it one more time to bring the first half to a conclusion. And an interesting first half it was. A fumble by David Richer set up a Calgary touchdown. Toronto drove a couple of times and kicked field goals. And then the key play late in the second quarter, Calgary fails to run out the clock, and Toronto kicks a field goal. So that brings the first half to a conclusion. Toronto leading Calgary 16-7. Let's go down to Vic Rudder, who's with Bob Lako.
Coach, you're up 16-7. You gave up the turnover. I know you hate that. Your defense played well enough to have this at 16-0.
Well, we're doing a lot of good things. You know, obviously there's a lot of football left, and we got to play a heck of a second half. But we're great to be ahead at the half.
Jamie Bone points out that you may be surprising Calgary with your running, both by Richer and Muxlow, and certainly by Mario, because he doesn't normally run.
Well, I think Mario just wants to win, and he's pulling out all the stops to win the game.
Big play offense, that's what you've been known for, and you did get it from Richer.
It was a great play. He's freed himself up in this particular game. He's been injured all season long, and now it looks like he's finally got his game legs back, and we need more of that.
Coach, we thank you. Leading 16-7, Gord.
Leading 16-7 now at halftime, and we'll be back with more of our coverage of the 29th Vanier Cup in just a moment.
Scores 16-7. This will be the last game of football for most seniors at Skydome today. Canadian University football is like that. There is little future, or at least future for very few after 5 years of fun. At Skydome, it's a senior's last game.
I know the game's going to be quite emotional. and I care a lot about all these guys and like my family, and you know, I want to give it everything I have. You know, whatever injuries I suffer, or you know, I have the rest of my life to heal, and I'm not going to turn pro, or I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm just going to move on with my life.
You know, being my last game, I'm really going to want to go out and have a strong showing and try and make things happen out there.
For every play, I'm just going to go totally flat out as hard as I can, you know, even if I am dying on the field.
And Brad Muxlow played flat out last week as well, catching 7 passes for 117 yards to lead the Blues past Concordia. Meanwhile, in Halifax, John Kalin completed 20 for 320 yards to help Calgary to a win over St. Mary's, their first appearance in a Vanier Cup since 1988.
I came in the year after they won the Vanier Cup. We had a strong team that year. Unfortunately, we didn't do as good as we thought. And, just the people I met and the experiences I've had over these 5 years have probably been you know, some of the greatest times.
I'd like to get the sweater at the end of the game and hang on to that for the memories. And you know, it's over, but it's not really over because this program's going to continue, and you know, I'll be one of the friends of football sitting up in the fans in a few years from now and supporting the program in the direction it's moving now.
There he is. Oh, right. That was good.
When I started off, my dad always said, if you're going to start something, see it all the way through. And, you know, he's really pushed football on me, and he's been one of my best supporters, you know, all through my career. He comes to all my games, he walks up and down the sidelines, and, you know, when I come home, he's the first one to say, oh, you had a good game, and he's also the first one to say you could have done a few things better.
My parents have been pretty supportive over the years. I leave my family's business over the summer, like when I come back to the training camp in the fall, and that's kind of tough, and, you know, and my father's right behind me saying, you know, go finish your football and your schooling, and then we can take care of business later and stuff like that. And Mom's always been, you know, one to call up every night and say good luck and all this stuff. And my sister and my brothers are all behind me too.
And while the two young men still have about 6 months to go before they walk off their campuses for the very last time, they now have only about an hour or so before they leave the football field for the final time, and it's their last chance at college football's ultimate prize.
I think I would just be very, very complacent with the career I've had, and knowing that it ended on a high note. I would be just holding the cup, hopefully, holding that cup, looking at it, and realizing that the 5 years of work that I put into this program and that the coaches put into me is all finally paid off.
Win or lose, you know, we put a great year together and a lot of commitment into where we are now, and you know, it's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday, you know, win or lose, and when we come out of it, I think, you know, it'll be probably the best game in our lives we'll ever play.
Faces in the crowd include a lot of proud parents at Vanier Cup 93, including the Muxlows, mother and father of Brad Muxlow of the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. And standing by now, here's Rod Smith with the Kalins.
Actually, one of the Kalins, John, Mrs. Gail Kalin, is here. I guess your husband is off getting a hot dog or something?
That's right. A hot dog.
Just tell me, how proud are you of your son? He's a tremendous athlete and obviously come a long way this year.
We're very, very, very proud of him. No, it's very exciting to be here, and we're really enjoying all the festivities.
Thank you very much.
All right, Rod, thanks very much. Up at sidelines where head coach of the Concordia Stingers, Pat Shee, and I have had our perspective for the first half. A pretty good first half of football. University of Toronto Blues ahead 16-7. Coach, I was kind of surprised at how soft U of T played, but it seemed to play right into their hands. Kind of frustrated Calgary.
Yeah, I think they did. They did a very good job of keeping things in front of them. You'll notice that Kalin took off once to obtain first down yardage. On the interception, he had a chance to roll out to his right. He should have taken off at that point. He tried to throw back across field for a critical turnover and prevent Calgary perhaps taking the lead in the game.
Yeah, one of those missed opportunities that may come back to haunt you. But I think really the story in the first half, you know, was this particular play. And we're looking for themes up here. And on this particular occasion, Varsity Blues only rushed 3 players. And give John Kalin credit. He recognized that when you've got 9 people dropping off, you have to take matters into your own hands. He did so. He ran with the football effectively. But, you know, Coach, you look at adjustments and lack of them. I would think Calgary really did a poor job in the first half, recognizing that and then maybe throwing the screens or the draws or little swing passes.
Well, this will be an opportunity for them at halftime to analyze themselves. I think probably in the second half they'll pull out all the stops, and I think you'll see Kalin run the football a little bit more in the second half if Varsity continues to lay off.
Let's talk about the coaches quickly. Bob Lako must be thrilled with his performance in the first half.
Yeah. Well, I think everything's pretty much gone his way. I would imagine the U of T game plan has been executed to perfection thus far.
Yeah, and as we look at the halftime stats, I'm sure that head coach Peter Cannellan from the Calgary Dinosaurs will be totally dismayed at only 80 yards passing. Now, John Kalin's better than that, isn't he?
I think he's a lot better than that. I think from Calgary's perspective and Peter's perspective, he was concerned about the big play. He was concerned about Toronto's team speed. And I think those are the things that probably haunted him a little bit in the first half as well.
Well, a heck of a run by David Richer, the fine running back from U of T. Accumulated a lot of yardage, contributed nicely to those 248 yards, and all in all, a pretty good first half of football. Now, Wellesley, how are things down in the south end behind home plate?
Well, it's a little drier, but we've got the same view of midfield here at Skydome as you do. The sumo wrestlers on parade. Halftime at Skydome, and this is Vanier Cup 93. This is Vanier Cup 93, and the University of Toronto Varsity Blues have the lead at 16-7 on the Calgary Dinosaurs. An entertaining first half of football. Let's get to the scoring highlights with Gord and Jamie.
All right, thanks very much, John. It was advantage Calgary early on when David Richer fumbled in his own zone, and the Dinosaurs took quick advantage, Jamie.
Well, Calgary didn't waste any time in capitalizing on the turnover that they received, and John Kalin, of course, the kind of quarterback that he is, he can put the ball right on the money, and that's what he did in that particular series. He went back and he found Don Blair coming across the formation. John Kalin, we talk about his mobility, we talk about the kind of quarterback he is, play action pass, gets back in the pocket. He's looking for Blair coming across the field from the left side to the right. Hits him with a strike. Now Blair turns it upfield, and he sees the end zone, gives a little bit of a hot dog move here. But nevertheless, that put Calgary up 7 points.
Yeah, just 2 plays to go 16 yards in 31 seconds. So Calgary's up early. Toronto comes back with a couple of good drives that result in field goals. And then comes the big play. Richer makes up for the fumble.
A huge play and a great block here by Vasilis, number 55. Gets through there, and then Richer does it all on his own, cutting into the inside. There's no one there. Now it's a foot race. Not too many guys are going to catch the speedster David Richer in the open field, and that put Toronto up.
All right, that was a 3-play, 76-yard drive. Of course, Richer with the 57-yard touchdown run. We mentioned that Toronto had a couple of drives that resulted in field goals. And really, in this first half, the Varsity Blues enjoyed a decided edge offensively.
They really did. And I think what surprised everybody is their ability to run the football. I mean, they've had a really good first half, and that might have surprised Calgary as well.
Well, the Dinosaurs have had some problems with dropped footballs, and then you might talk about some play selection. Let's take a look at some of the numbers that are key to both teams for the first 30 minutes of play. And when you talk about the numbers, they favor the Toronto Varsity Blues decidedly. Storino's got 7 completions for 126 yards so far. No touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's kind of surprising. They're running the ball very effectively, but, you know, University of Calgary doing a very good job defensively to take away his first read. That's why his numbers are not as impressive, and their ability to run the football.
Now, John Kalin, on the other hand, is 7 of 13 for 80 yards. He has thrown for a touchdown, but he did throw a key interception as well.
He's been plagued by having his receivers drop some passes on him. He's going to have to come out here or talk to them at halftime and say, you got to start catching the ball. Plus, he's going to have to make those decisions when he gets outside and he has clear field to take what Toronto gives you and start running the football.
All right, let's talk about what they're talking about at halftime, particularly from the Calgary side. You and I talked late in that half. Calgary had the ball deep in its own zone, threw on second down. They could have run out the clock. They, in essence, gave Toronto a free field goal. Now they go to the dressing room, and unless something unforeseen happened, their coaches made a gigantic mistake.
They did make a big mistake in that, Gord. There's no question about it. Now, I don't think the players are going to go in there and question the coaching staff, but I'm sure Peter Cannellan and his staff are going to say to his players, listen, we blew it down there, but let's put that behind us. We got to get back in this football game and make the adjustments that are necessary to get us back into this game and put some points on the board.
All right, let's go down to Rod Smith, who's got defensive coordinator Tony Vasano with him. Rod?
Okay, thank you, Gord. Now, I know, Tony, I'm asking the defensive coordinator. But can you tell me just about the play selection on offense toward the end? It looks like it really cost you 3 extra points for U of T.
Well, it may have. I think you look at the first half, I don't think we executed as well as we have to on offense and defense. We're happy with the special teams at this point, but we got to come out in the second half and execute much better if we're going to be successful. They're a good football team. There's lots of time left. We feel confident we can come back and win this ball game.
All right, thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony Fasano, the defensive coordinator for the Dinos. Now let's go to John Wells.
9 points for University of Toronto field goal kicker Stu Brindle. He was a perfect 3 for 3. And that's the halftime margin. The Varsity Blues lead the Dinosaurs by 9.
Ball first in this second half. Murray Sobko to kick it off. The slot back, who is the straight ahead kicker. The square toe boot. You don't see that much anymore. And he drives this one down inside Calgary territory to Kevin Klein, and Klein taking over from James Buchanan, who was injured late in the half. Gets up to the 28-yard line where John Kalin and the offense take over. And injuries have been a problem for both sides, but fortunately most of the shaken-up players, including Murray Sobko, have returned for the opening of the second half. And we'll see what kind of adjustments both teams have made, particularly the Calgary Dinosaurs, who were stymied for most of the second quarter. Back to the ground. Chris Lewis. A flag is down, and so is Lewis after a gain of maybe a couple. Lewis ran well early in the first half, but hasn't done much since.
Well, Toronto are doing a good job of stringing him out, not allowing him to turn upfield.
And Bob Butler, our referee, straightening things out as a penalty is called in the opening play of the half.
27 Toronto, first down repeated.
Offside is the call against the Varsity Blues, so it'll be a first down over again for the Dinosaurs, this time up at about their 35-yard line.
You talked about Toronto doing a good job on defense. Tom Hips, in particular, the defensive end, has done a nice job of making sure that he strings things out and waits for the linebackers to come in and help out.
First and 5, and there's that flex defense again from Toronto. Kalin on play action. Has lots of room, throwing over the top, deflected. And almost a chance for Ryan Williams to catch it on the tip ball. But that pass dangerously over the middle of the Toronto defense.
Now, one of the advantages that the players have playing in the Sky Dome, they all look up at the Jumbotron. You can see Kalin doing that right there, taking a look to see the replay. Ball gets tipped. But the linebacker coming across, looks like Lou Tiro got a hand on it. Again, though, Gord, when he gets outside free like that, I'm a bit surprised that Kalin is not trying to put more pressure on the U of T defensive backs by running with the football.
Brings up a 2nd and 5. Kalin quickly to the flat. Friday with the catch and the first down out of bounds at the 44-yard line. And that has been Calgary's most successful type of offensive play, keeping it short and working the ball. But the Varsity Blues content to see that, and they'll force the Dinosaurs to put together long drives and say, we'll see if you can do it without making a mistake.
That's their defensive philosophy. Giulio Giordani, a former linebacker with the Varsity Blues, is their defensive coordinator.
So a first down from the 44-yard line. Back to the ground to Lewis, and he's tripped up quickly this time as the tackle is made by John Raposo, the defensive end.
I'm really impressed by Toronto's defensive line. They're doing a great job getting inside of those gaps and controlling the gaps. Raposo, number 41, slides off of the block and makes a tackle on Chris Lewis. Now, if Lewis gets through into the linebacker, the secondary area, there's a lot of room to run, but that defensive line is doing such a great job.
Raposo had a scholarship at Colgate, but elected to come back and rejoin the Varsity Blues. 2nd and 10. Kalin with a deep drop and all kinds of time. Threw into double coverage, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Chris Barnett, still going and out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And another key turnover by Toronto as Kalin threw into heavy traffic, and Toronto comes away with the football.
Well, Chris Barnett is that dime back, their 6th defensive back they bring in. Now, let's go back a week ago. He was not even dressed for the Churchill Bowl game. The dime back was Greg Walker. Walker went down hurt, and then Chris Barnett came in and had a big interception in that game as well. Mike Freiter was wide open. but he decides to come back again to Ryan Williams, and then Barnett is there and does a nice job of returning. Good block by Lou Tiro as well. Mike Freider is open, and he's trying to wave. Now there's about 10 yards in between Turner and Freider.
Here's Richer with room. Richer picks his way across the 20 down to the 16-yard line, and a Toronto first down.
And you talk, Gord, about the Toronto defense allowing Calgary to try and drive and not make any mistakes. There is another one.
They spot the ball down at the 17-yard line. 1st and 10 for Toronto. 12 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Blues looking to blow this game open. This time it's Muxlow, the lead back, still going. Muxlow fighting for the goal line is brought down at the 1. And everybody thought the ball was going to Richer. Instead, it was the fullback, Brad Muxlow, who picks up about 16 yards. And they'll spot it at the 1.
They like to run the inside trap to Muxlow. Again, you know, they just take away here, and they trap inside here, and they bring it to Muxlow in through here.
And the defense flowed over to Richer, thinking he was getting the ball. 1st and goal from the 1. Richer, and he is stuffed big time. Mike Nightingale, the linebacker, came up, and Richer might have lost a yard. Mike Nightingale, in his 2nd year, had a fumble recovery, and they feel he really developed as a middle linebacker this year. They'll call it a loss of a yard. This time the ball will be scrimmaged at about the 1.5 yards. And Jason Aston is warming up on the Calgary sidelines. This time the toss to Richer. And it's a touchdown. Richer fights his way across the goal line. And Calgary takes advantage of the turnover. Richer with his 2nd touchdown of the football game. And it was all set up on the interception by the Toronto defense.
Good job by the lead back, Brad Muxlow, making a nice block, and then Richer comes back inside. He just gets over the end zone. Chris Penner making a valiant effort to stop him, but he was in the end zone at that time, and the official signaled TD.
And they signal extra point as well. And so the count goes to 23-7. The Varsity Blues have a firm grip on the Vanier Cup. The 29th Vanier Cup is coming to you from Skydome, the world's greatest entertainment center. Let's go downstairs to Rod Smith.
Well, Gord, we saw earlier, you pointed out Jason Aston warming up. It looks like he will be going in. If not this drive, then perhaps the next one. He was taking his snaps and throwing the ball. Aston threw for over 1,000 yards this season in the air. More productive even than John Kalin, but not nearly as mobile. And now let's go over to Vic.
With Brad Muxlow, you haven't scored the touchdowns, but you certainly helped lead the way.
Oh, it doesn't matter if I score or not, as long as the team wins. That's a big thing.
And the interesting thing, the arrangement that you have with David Richer, who has 40% loss of hearing from birth, the kind of signals that you worked out?
Yeah, we talked a lot. Like, I have a lot of hand signals that tells them if we're audible or and what way we're going and stuff like that. So.
Well, the next signal you might give them is, hey, we've won this game.
Well, that's a little ways yet. We're only in the middle of the third quarter yet, so we got a long ways to go yet.
Brad, very much.
You're welcome.
And this points out a problem for the Calgary Dinosaurs that has been persistent throughout the season, scoring in the 2nd and 3rd quarters. And the Dinosaurs have really been victimized in the middle quarters. They were that time as the drive covered only 30 yards after the interception, and Richer took it in from 2 yards out. Muxlow's run, though, was the big one there, taking them down to the 1 yard line. And Jason Aston has his helmet on the Calgary sideline. We'll see what the Dinosaurs do after the kickoff. And the kick is short hopped and is picked up there by Dan Jeremiah. And Jeremiah rumbles for a couple as he gets up to about the 35 yard line. And here comes Jason Assen, who started 5 games this year in the middle of the regular season for the Dinosaurs. Hometown from Calgary. And a 48.9% passer for over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
And they talked about him not being as mobile as John Kalin. Only 10 rushes this year for 23 yards.
First and 10 from the 35. He gives to Lewis. Lewis looking to get outside, which he does. Fights his way up close to the first down, up at the 45-yard line. Forced out of bounds by Ben Roos, the safety.
That's a play that made a lot of tailbacks famous at the University of Calgary. J.P. Escuerdo, Craig Kittleson. They like to run that counter tackle trap where they fake going one way and they bring guard and tackle from the backside. You can see. And Lewis reads this. He sees nothing inside. He bounces it outside. And a good block by Rod Meyer. Rod Meyer lines up primarily at the right tackle, but they feel they like to run at his side. They'll flop him over.
You know, you talk about the tradition of quarterbacking in Calgary. Peter Cannella never had a problem picking his quarterback because he always had all Canadians. Greg Vavra, Lou Lorick, Bob Torrance. And this time they make the decision to go to the pen, and Jason Assen. And the Calgary Dinosaurs have a first down at their own 45-yard line. Assen to throw. Has time, waits, and now completes it as Mike Freiter worked his way back to the quarterback and made the catch up at about the 53-yard line.
It's good patience by Jason Assen to get into that type of a situation, not trying to force anything, buying himself some time, delivering the strike. Talking about Assen being primarily a drop-back quarterback. The first read is not there. He slides outside. Now he's got Tom Hips coming after him, finds Mike Freiter right in the hole.
And Lou Tiro makes the stop.
Lou Tiro, we mentioned the President's Trophy winner the other night, is the outstanding defensive player in the nation.
2nd and 3, Lewis, and guess who brings him down? Lou Tiro gets an arm out again, stops him short of a first down. They'll likely mark his progress up to midfield, and that will bring up an intriguing 3rd and 1 situation.
Now John Kalin's going back into the football game. I think they want to put some pressure on that Toronto defense with his ability to run. Jason Assen comes out. They are going for it in 3rd and 1.
It's a long one. So a huge gamble by the Dinosaurs. And this looks like a designed run all the way. It is. And Kalin gets down to the Toronto 50-yard line for a first down for the Dinosaurs.
Sounds very simplistic, Gord, but they should be doing this kind of stuff more often with John Kalin. But again, he'll come out of the football game.
Jason Assen has directions from offensive coordinator Dennis Hollowaychuk. He's on the headset upstairs to Peter Cannella.
Kind of speed that John Kalin has, gets his shoulders turned upfield and puts his head down to get more than enough for the first down.
Calgary has not scored a point since the opening minutes of this football game. First and 10 from the Toronto 50. Assen with time, almost had it intercepted by Lou Tiro. Looking again for Freiter, and Tiro was right there to make the play.
And Lou Tiro, he's just spying the quarterback. He's just looking at Jason Assen's eyes and then just flowing to the ball. Lou Tiro been around. Lou Tiro's right in the middle, number 44. He's just watching Assen's eyes. Ooh, could have had it.
Brings up a 2nd and 10. Assen looking for the wide side of the field. Has a man open and completes it to Blair. Blair dragged down at the 29-yard line. Great throw by Assen. Dean Turner makes the stop.
That was an excellent throw by Assen. Comes out on the semi-roll, rolling to his left. Hardest thing for a right-handed quarterback to do is deliver the ball. Rolling to your left. Jason Assen shows great poise. Gets his feet set, shoulder downfield, and delivers a strike to Don Blair.
And Blair, who had a touchdown earlier, makes a key first down catch here as Calgary gets down inside the Toronto 30-yard line. Assen quickly to Buchanan. And Buchanan takes a shot but hangs on as he gets down to the 21-yard line. And you can hear the hit all the way up here.
Barry McCamus coming in and laying the hit on James Buchanan. So far right now, it looks like Peter Cannella has made the right move at changing quarterbacks. Jason Assen doing a nice job at driving the ball. Finds Buchanan. Watch the big hit here by number 50 right there.
Oof. Boy, both Calgary wide receivers have been getting decked by linebackers. They've got to be saying, hey, that's not fair. We're supposed to get tackled by defensive backs. And Buchanan comes out of the game. He got poked in the eye earlier, and that may be the problem again. Second and a couple. Lewis with a first down as he gets down over the 17-yard line. And Calgary's most impressive drive of the football game continues.
No question, this was a big drive for the Calgary Dinosaurs. Buchanan checks back in. They had their short yardage offense in there, as does Don Blair.
We mentioned Chris Lewis on the pregame show. A year ago last week, he was playing in the Calgary City High School Football Championship. Today in the Vanier Cup, which may very well be the biggest football game of his life.
Also an accomplished wrestler, was city champ in Calgary 2 seasons, high school.
First down at the 17-yard line. Pass it for Freider at the goal line. Makes the catch, dives for the end zone. Touchdown.
What a great catch.
So Calgary goes to the bullpen. And Jason Assen throws strikes.
Play action pass. Jason Assen delivers a shot. Devon is going for the interception and the knockdown. A perfect pass that Freider does a smart thing. Just reaches out and gets the ball over the end zone.
Almost a rugby try. And it sounds like a cliche, but for the Calgary Dinosaurs, the way things went late in the second half and early in the third quarter, you've got to think that that was critical for the Dinosaurs to get back in this football game, because things had not been going well for them. But they're right back in this one, trailing 23-14. We'll return to the 29th Vanier Cup in a moment.
Right, I'm joined now by Jason Assen, the quarterback. Joined now by Jason Assen, quarterback for the Dinos, who just engineered that drive. By watching the first half, did you notice something you thought you could exploit in U of T's defense?
I think it helps a lot to stand on the sidelines. You get a chance to watch the defensive backs, and that's mainly the people you got to keep an eye on. And we saw some holes, and we're picking them.
Must be a real confidence booster now heading into
Well,
this.
it helps. We just got to keep it going now, you know. You can't let down.
Great. Thanks very much. Now let's go back upstairs.
All right, thanks, Rod. Well, the quarterbacks union's going to hate him for saying that it's good to stand on the sidelines.
Yeah, it is, Gordon. I think that if you're Jason Assen, I'm sure that he did not throw a pass last week in the Atlantic Bowl nor the Canada West Final. He started 5 games this year. I'm sure that he has a lot of fire in his belly, trying to show the coaching staff that you gave up on me a little bit too early and I can do the job. He certainly showed it in that last drive.
You saw John Kalin, who was replaced at quarterback, but he's still got some work to do. He, of course, is Calgary's starting safety, and with his helmet on, it appears that he'll go back out there to patrol the middle for the Dinosaurs. Bruce Parsons to kick it off. Etienne and McCausland are back deep. It's McCausland from the 10. And he gets up to the 20 before he's buried by Mark Kish. Let's go to Vic Rowder.
With U of T safety Ben Rouse, what is Assen doing differently that Kalin wasn't?
Basically, he's just taking the short passes and just moving it down the field slowly, which we usually let a team do and wait for them to make a mistake. This drive, they didn't make a mistake, but he
It's not
threw the
normal
ball.
for you to be on your heels like that.
I don't know. That's a fluke. We should have had a pick. Lutier just missed it. That we're going to get picks. We're going to turn the ball over. That's how our defense works. That was a fluke. It's not going to happen again. Guarantee it.
Take it to the bank. First and 10 Toronto from the 21-yard line. Here's Storino. And he'd like to get that back in a hurry. And it's picked off by Calgary. Intercepted by Rob Schroff. And the Dinosaur defense turns in the big play. How big is that?
What a change of momentum here. That's a pass that Mario Storino didn't really have anybody open. He was looking around, and he tried to force that one in there. Those are the ones you have to throw away. Didn't really get a lot behind that ball, and a nice play by Rob Schroff. 6th interception. He was trying to find Glenn McCausland, but he broke on the ball real well, came back for it, used his body. Big interception.
It gives Calgary a first down at the Toronto 32-yard line. 5.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. And here comes Assen up and throwing. Looking for Freiter, and Freiter has it down to the 20-yard line. And Assen to Freiter turns out to be a pretty good combination. And Freiter told us in the pregame show that when Assen's the quarterback, he has to run much more disciplined runs.
And, you know, I don't think U of T can allow Jason Assen this kind of time. He's out here. There's no rush on him whatsoever. He's got all the time in the world, and he can pick people out. And those defensive backs cannot cover guys that long. Not guys like Mike Freiter or James Buchanan.
First down, Calgary from the 20. To Chris Lewis. Lewis still going. Touchdown, Chris Lewis. And they're right back in.
Talk about counter trap. They're going to start Lewis out here, then bring him back inside. Then they're going to take guard and tackle, bring him across, kick out, and then Lewis is going to take it right up in here. This is perfectly executed. Bang, look at the hole open up, and then Lewis just takes it straight up the field, puts the shoulder down, bounces off, keeps his feet moving, and sniffs the goal line.
In his first year of university football, he's got a touchdown in the Vanier Cup. And a touchdown that gets his team within 2 points when just minutes ago things seemed pretty bleak for the Calgary Dinosaurs. That interception by Rob Schrock looming large now as the Dinosaurs have jumped back into the football game.
And you think of how much a factor turnovers have played in this game. 3 turnovers result in 3 touchdowns. How important is this next offensive series for Toronto? This is a great read by Lewis. Sees the kick out on McCamus. Now puts his head down on number 22, defensive back for Toronto, Chris Barnett. Keeps his feet moving and finds the end zone.
Barnett, who had a key interception himself that set up Toronto's last touchdown. So they come out with guns a-blazing here in the second.
It ain't over, baby. It ain't over.
And he's quick to point out that it's not over yet, a point that David Richer made moments ago.
And Brad Muxlow.
So Parsons will kick it off. Toronto will get it right back. And if Mario Storino is true to form, he'll come right back gunning. Here's Etienne from the 12. And look who got down to help make the tackle. Mike Freiter came scorching down the left sideline and grabbed Etienne's ankle and prevented him from taking it any further. Here's the last scoring drive for Calgary. 8 plays, 75 yards, and Freiter caught the 17-yard touchdown. That was the touchdown possession before that. This was the last one. 2 plays, 32 yards after the interception by Rob Schrock. So the Calgary defense is back on the field, and we'll see if Storino goes after them. On first down from the 27-yard line. They go to the ground to Richer. Richer gets across the 30 up to about the 32-yard line. Market is a gain of 5.
Sorry, Gord, that's a good call by Toronto to try and settle some things down and go back to things that were working well for them. Let's not panic. We still have the lead by 2 points. Let's start to drive the football a little bit, but there is a man down on the field. Offensive lineman for the University of Toronto. That's Joe Tassoni, the center. The backup that would come in would be number 66, Sandy Polklar, and he's running onto the field right now.
While we have a moment, let's go to Leif Pettersson and Pat Sheehan at Sightlines.
Oh, thanks very much, Gord. Quite a turnaround here in the third quarter. You know, Pat, I had a chance to see Calgary play last week, and they were way ahead early against St. Mary's, fell behind 23-19. I thought it was all over, but this team has a lot of character, don't they?
Well, they sure do. I think probably some of that change in momentum is due to they have a young team, but you certainly have to compliment them on having all the grit that's necessary to be a champion. They're a great club.
Well, they've come up and made the big plays. Nice quarterbacking change. Interception by Rob Schroth. Gord, we got a heck of a game going here.
Believe, and Mike Freider joins me now to talk about that. Great turnaround, just the quarterbacking change. What is it they don't know about this guy, Jason Assen?
Well, we have two weapons in the backfield, John Kalan and Jason Assen, and sometimes you have to make a change, and they can both do the job. And as Jason's proven right now, he's capable of turning things around, and we're just fortunate that we've done that already.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Now back upstairs.
All right, Joe Tassone leaves the field, running, which is a good sign. And watch John Kalan. He's the guy that got Tassone. Well, I guess now he's not quarterbacking. He can concentrate on hitting guys.
That's twice Kalen's done that, and that is illegal, though, Gord. You cannot lead. The initial point of contact cannot be with the helmet. That's for his own safety.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Storino flushed out of the pocket, looking for someone to run, and he won't find it. Mike Nightingale drops it. And the Calgary defense starts to shift the momentum in the Dinosaurs' favor. And the Toronto Varsity Blues will be forced to punt.
From up top, take a look at the rush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys coming, 6 guys coming. And then Storino steps up, and Mike Nightingale, the middle linebacker on the blitz, he pulls him down.
And the key is that with Tassone out of there, the rush came right up the middle. Mike Nightingale played at Lindsay Thurber Composite High School in Red Deer. I know that because my dad went there too. Just thought I'd get it to play. So Lou Tiro is back to punt. Calgary should get decent field position, trailing by 2 with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's a reverse to Buchanan. Freider hands off to Buchanan. Gets across midfield, still going. And Buchanan is all the way down to the Toronto 40-yard line. As the Dinosaurs go to their bag of tricks and get excellent field position. And Buchanan had trouble on the exchange from Freider. That could have been disastrous.
It could have been disastrous. He bobbles it right here as he's trying to get around the corner. Good job, keeps his feet moving, makes sure he gets as many yards as possible. Right now, Gord, they are in field goal range for Bruce Parsons.
And with Jason Assen at quarterback, Calgary has scored on both possessions. Stay tuned at the conclusion of today's game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. Bob Lako on the sidelines for the Varsity Blues, and his team has been on its heels for the last couple of minutes.
An interesting point, Gord, when Jason Assen comes in at quarterback, they do not have any real film on Jason Assen. We take a look once again at James Buchanan returning that punt. Good running by Buchanan. He had that great return a week ago against the St. Mary's Huskies that really put the game out of reach for Calgary.
Interesting point. Now, obviously, Toronto would have film of more than one game, but Assen really hasn't played quarterback since the middle of the season for the Dinosaurs.
That's right, he hasn't. And, you know, you start to prepare your defense to play against a different style quarterback, such as John Kalan. They're concerned about him running outside.
Now, the last 2 possessions for Calgary have been with Assen at quarterback after the interception by Kalan. And look at that. 8 plays, then 2 plays, both result in touchdowns. And the Dinosaurs have battled back, and now they have the ball at the Blues 40.
And defensively for Kalan, what I'm sure Toronto wanted to do is try and control him, stop him from getting outside, make him throw in the pocket. Now, that's not really good against Jason Assen. He's much more of a pocket passer. I think they're going to have to try and get some pressure on him, not to give him a lot of time sitting back there in the pocket.
First down from the 40. The fake to Lewis. Assen's going deep. Looking for Blair, who almost made the catch at the goal line. He had it for a moment, but the ball came loose, and Dean Turner is back to provide the coverage. So Calgary goes after it on one play.
And Assen throws a nice high ball. Dean Turner beat on the play. Blair goes up nice and high, but just cannot squeeze it.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 from the 40.
This Calgary offense getting very aggressive in their passing game.
Assen has that one knocked away. John Raposo got the arms up, and so Calgary is unable to muster anything offensively. And this should bring up a field goal try by Bruce Parsons from 47 yards out. He twice kicked field goals of 48 yards this season.
When you're a defensive lineman, they always say, put your hands up high. John Raposo, 6'4" tall, jumping up in the air. Jason Assen really didn't have a chance to get that one away. Good play by the defensive lineman.
And actually, where Parsons puts the tee down, it's pretty close to the 48-yard line, so we'll give him the benefit of a couple of inches and say this would equal his season long.
Now, if he misses this because the players have to stay in and block, McCausland's very dangerous.
He had a 120-yard missed field goal return against Windsor this year. Parsons puts it up. Short and wide. Here comes McCausland from the goal line. McCausland ran into his own man, Tyrrell. If not for that, he'd have got a lot further. Down at the 33-yard line. McCausland was flying, but he ran into his own man.
Lou Tyrrell, that's one tackle he did not want to make today. You see right there, McCausland had a lot of room to go. Calgary should go over and give him a little tap on the head and say, thanks, Lou.
But still, after all that's happened in the last few minutes, Toronto has to feel fortunate. With the great field position Calgary had, the Dinosaurs do not come away with any points. And the Toronto offense can go to work from its own 32-yard line, leading by 2. Serino has a man wide open, Nardi, and he makes the catch right at midfield. Kalen makes the stop. But my goodness, was John Nardi wide open.
This is a great play. They're playing 3 deep coverage. They just take Nardi straight down the seam. Does a nice job of making sure his body is in front of the ball so that the safety Kalen cannot come across.
But it's going back. A flag came down late, and the call is going against Toronto. Here's Bob Butler. Holding. And we were unable to get the number, but what a huge call that is. That makes it 2nd and 20 now from the 22-yard line. Instead of having the ball first down at midfield, the Blues are moving backwards with a minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. Serino running for his life, throwing on the run over the head of Nardi, and a good thing it was, because he would have been clocked by the linebacker who was running over on that play.
I'm a bit surprised there, Gore, that it's first down and 20. Usually as a quarterback, you want to try and get back half the yardage so that you can be facing 2nd down and 10. Now they're going to be facing down 2nd down and 20. A very difficult situation for a quarterback to throw the ball in effectively. Bob Lake was sending in the signals. One surprising thing today, Gord, is we have not seen Glenn McCausland in the backfield as we did a week ago against Concordia.
Brings up a 2nd and 20. Serino has time this time, and it's picked up. No, the ball came loose. Roger Reinson had it, but couldn't squeeze it. And he actually took a step with it. Instead, it falls as an incomplete pass, and Toronto will be forced to punt.
Roger Reinson, man coverage on John Nardi. 26, the outside linebacker around. Reinson did play safety at the beginning of the year. So he has great pass coverage skills. They felt they could put Kalen back at safety, and they could put Roger Reinson, an outside linebacker. Well, make him stronger.
Serino got away with one there. And so Lou Tyrrell will punt from his own 10.
And one thing about Lou Tyrrell's punting, they've all been low line drive punts that Calgary have been able to return and get fairly good yardage.
Remember the last time Calgary ran a little reverse. Here's another low driving punt, almost like a pass. Freiter across midfield. A flag is down, and Freiter is out of bounds at the 48-yard line. That'll be an illegal block, almost certainly against the Dinosaurs.
Yeah, it was against Alex Nayar, was a U of T Blue that was clipped from behind. Now he'll be coming back.
There have been some key penalties in the second half, and None bigger than the holding call that brought back a 27-yard Toronto.
Legal block. Calgary number 51, 10 yards, first down.
And here it is on the right-hand side of your screen.
Just see the top to your left, number 51, Alex Nayar, getting pushed.
TSN's coverage of the National Hockey League continues with the Los Angeles Kings and the Quebec Nordiques live from the Colisée in Quebec City at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. The Dinosaurs with the penalty start 1st and 10 from their 43. Draw play, and the fullback David Evans didn't get much as Tom Hips got up and made the stop after a gain of, I'll call it 3.
And when you're Jason Aston coming up there, and I'm sure Peter Cannellan's seeing the same thing, you see a 3-man front. You see Halkitis backed off in a 2-point stance. You think we have to be able to run against that. But Hips is doing a good job of sliding down into that gap. Again, they go with a 2-down lineman, Halkitis in that 2-point stance.
3 receivers to Aston's right. And that's where he's going deep, but it's over the head of Don Blair. The closest man to the ball was the safety, Ben Roos. And that brings the 3rd quarter to an end, as the Varsity Blues lead the Calgary Dinosaurs by 2. We'll be back with the 4th quarter from the 29th Vanier Cup in just a moment. Welcome back to Varsity Stadium in Toronto. Check that, we're at Skydome with the Varsity Blues taking on the Calgary Dinosaurs. Of course, the Vanier Cup for years was held at Varsity Stadium, where the Varsity Blues practiced this week, choosing not to enjoy the comforts of indoor life here at Skydome this week. And now they'll talk it over on both sidelines. A 2-point lead for Toronto with 15 minutes and then maybe some more to play here. And 5th-year players like Mike Freiter looking to finish off their university careers with a championship. Murray Sobko on the other side in the same situation.
And one thing about the Calgary Dinosaurs, they have owned the 4th quarter. They've scored 110 points.
Let's go to sightlines and actually, well, okay, here we go. Leaf, what do you got?
Okay, listen, Coach, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I know you may get drummed out of the fraternity for doing this, but, hey, Calgary's come back with 14 quick points going into the 4th quarter. Now 23-21 Varsity. Who do you like?
Well, is there no fence close by I could sit on?
No fence at all. Come on out.
I'm going to pick the University of Toronto on the strength of their veteran players. I think they have more and more experience going into the 4th quarter. I think that's going to be the difference.
Whoa, I don't know. I like Calgary, Gord. How about you?
I like a good 4th quarter. I found a fence to sit on. Here's Parsons with a high punt to McCausland at the 30. McCausland dropped it for a moment, and now it's off and running. McCausland with the punter to beat. Glenn McCausland. And he's waving goodbye. Touchdown, Toronto. 80 yards. The squirrel has him going nuts. We said he was dangerous, and that time he was.
And how often do you see this? He fumbles it. Now everybody comes in and they panic. They think they can get to the ball. Now he cuts it outside and watch this great move he puts on Parsons. Gives him the shoulder inside. No, I'm running away from you. Now he starts to taunt. Now he's taunting him. Great return.
I saw Waddell Smith do that once in a Grey Cup game, but I haven't seen it since. The convert is good, just. And here's Glenn McCausland.
But I mean, a great job.
when you dropped it, it appeared to draw them in. Did you see that and then play off of that?
I was just hoping the ball was going to come near me so I could pick it up. Didn't want to fumble it.
The team was back on its heels now. You pick up this touchdown. How was the team feeling?
I think we were a bit down, but hopefully after that, that'll get them going for the rest of the game. We'll hold on to the win.
Well, the man they call the squirrel puts them on top, 30-21.
The first touchdown the Calgary Dinosaurs have allowed in the fourth quarter of a postseason game this season. And is it gigantic?
And Glenn McCausland a year ago in one game returned 2 punts for touchdowns and a kickoff for a TD, a CIAU record. Glenn McCausland, they had some doubts whether or not he would be able to go today because he suffered an injury last week versus Concordia in the Churchill Bowl.
I had to do that after the first one.
And Bob Lako, I'm sure, is glad that McCausland is back.
So Sobko to kick it off. And the Dinosaurs will see what they can do with the ball. And the kickoff is taken by Kevin Klein. And Klein got a lot with not much, up to about the 38-yard line. And the hero of the moment is Glenn McCausland, with the 82-yard punt return for a touchdown, and a little wave at the end. And so the offense comes back on the field for Calgary, and we'll see what Jason Assen can do. He's moved the ball smartly since coming in relief of John Kalin early in the third quarter.
This game has had so many emotional swings. It's been incredible, especially in the second half.
Just underway in the fourth quarter. Here's the toss to Chris Lewis. Fumble! And no one seemed to know where it was, and it's Toronto ball. Another huge play by the Blues defense.
John Raposo, we've been talking about him knocking down passes earlier. He causes the fumble, and John Zoran, I believe, falls on it.
Successive big plays by the Blues.
Now, Lewis is carrying the ball in the wrong hand. When you're running left, you got to carry the ball in the left hand. That's what happens. You get pursuit from the inside, and it was John Raposo gets a hand in there, then John Zoran picks it up.
So it's Toronto ball at the Calgary 38-yard line.
Raposo gets a hand in there, causes the fumble, then John Zoran falls on it. You see Don Blair trying to get the officials to say it's Calgary's ball, but it isn't.
And David Richer pulls his way down to the 30-yard line, dropped at about the 31. And now the Calgary defense will be called upon to stop the Blues. The numbers through 3 quarters. Calgary starts to pull up in net yards. Both teams have committed 2 costly turnovers. And that was the latest. And there's an injured Calgary Dinosaur on the play. It looks like might be nose guard John Schmulin. Is it 42? Dan Jeremovic is the injured Calgary Dinosaur. And Chris Penner, the defensive captain, will go over to talk to the coaches on the sidelines in what becomes now a crucial defensive series for the Dinosaurs. Jeremovic missed all of last year for Calgary and was enjoying an outstanding season. A major reason they got this far. Let's go to Vic Rauter.
With John Zoran, who helps turn this around and get the ball back. The defense on its heels, being forced to come up with a big play, and you did.
Well, I mean, that's been our style all season long. You know, when we had to create the turnover we have, Johnny Raposo came in with the big arm of his, knocked the ball away. I was just lucky enough to jump on it there.
How much different, though, is Assen as a quarterback playing him and realizing what he likes to do is roll out and pass?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't faced a quarterback that has this kind of mobility yet. It is a bit different, but I think, you know, we can contain them, and so far we've been able to control their offense, and it's been good so far.
And this momentum that keeps going back and forth. You seem totally in control at halftime. In fact, first drive, you know, to turn it over and get the score, and they come back within 2.
Well, you know, it's a championship game. They're obviously gunning for the championship. What can I say? They're a great team. They deserve to be here.
John, thank you.
Thank you.
And Jeremovic leaves the field and appears to be all right, should return.
And Ron Meyer fills in for him in defense. That's one of the question marks about the University of Calgary has been their depth. When you have offensive tackle Ron Meyer having to go in and play some defense, he has to be very tired at this point in the football game.
The gain was 3 at 2nd and 7. Here's Riche. Lots of room. Outside. Kalen forces him out of bounds. A flag is down right where the ball was scrimmaged. Riche did pick up the necessary yardage for a first down. We'll see what Bob Butler and the officiating crew have to say about it. And it's coming back.
Legal procedure, Toronto, no eligible receiver on the end. Second down repeated.
Illegal procedure at the call. Let's go to Leaf.
Let's go back and have one more look at the fabulous play by John Raposo, the defensive end. I mean, this is why you practice all these moves of hitting the ground and you go back up and you strip the ball loose, and he made a heck of a play. Here he is right here. All you have to do is watch his action. Well, we've lost it, but trust me, he makes a great play, and John Zran, of course, comes up with the key fumble recovery. Heck of a break for U of T.
And we'll see if they can take advantage. And it's picked off by Schroth. Rob Schroth turns in another big defensive play with his second interception of the football game. So as Leaf was talking about how key that turnover was, Calgary needed to stop Toronto there, and the Dinosaurs did.
This is a huge play for Calgary. Rob Schroth again stepping in front. They're trying to throw it to McCausland, a big play, because they were in field goal range and could have put this game out of reach. But again, the defenses on both sides continue to come up with big, big plays.
Well, what next? Calgary gets it back at the 25. Lots of time. 12.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. The Dinosaurs trail by 9.
And the guy who's breathing the biggest sigh of relief is Chris Lewis.
And they give it right back to him. Same play, it looks like. And not much doing there as Lou Tiro got into the backfield quickly to help make the stop. Let's go to Rod Smith.
All right, thank you, Gord. Joined by Rob Schroth with your second interception. Say this much about the defense, it's not quitting, and it looks like you figured Storino out.
I don't know if we figured him out. We got lucky couple plays. I think he just threw that ball, and I was lucky enough to catch it. That's all.
How important is this in light of the fact that you're down by 9 to shut U of T down offensively?
I don't think we could let him score. That really hurt. But offense is going to come around here, and we're gonna take this. We're gonna go.
All right, thank you, Rob.
Yes.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Bassett looking for this key, picked off. McCamus, touchdown. And the Blues come right back with a big defensive play, and this one might put the Vanier Cup in their hands.
How big has Barry McCamus been for the Blues this season? Against Laurier in the semifinal, he causes the turnover when Laurier going in to score the tying touchdown. Against Western, he recovers a fumble on the Yates Cup that gives Toronto life and brings them back. Now they're trying to run the screen, and McCamus is outside, man coverage on Chris Lewis, and he intercepts the pass and takes it into the end zone for another touchdown.
And Toronto, in a fourth quarter that has seen several stunning turns of events, turns in the latest. And so the Varsity Blues now lead by 16. We'll be back in a moment.
Introducing Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. A clear, clean gel that goes on smoothly with no white residue to form an invisible barrier of protection. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirants and Deodorants.
At Mr. Sub, fresh thinking is what we are. Imagine visiting yourself in the future.
Wow, look who's here. I know you. Sure do. I'm you 25 years later. What am I doing here? We spend our winters here. Did we win the lottery? know lottery? Freedom 55.
Only your London Life representative offers Freedom 55. Protection today, plus a financial plan that works, so one day you won't have to.
And when did we start driving convertibles? About the same time we started surfing. Surfing?
A 16-point lead for Toronto over Calgary in the fourth quarter after the interception for a touchdown by Barry McCamus. Let's go to Vic Rouser.
Well, Barry, Jamie says this is becoming old habit for you.
No, I just haven't been in the right spot at the right time again. I don't know.
This defense is something very special, isn't it?
Yeah, we're doing a good job now. We let up a bit in the third quarter there, came out a little down. But we're right back in it now and playing well.
It says something about the defense to be able to bounce back like that, because they were within 2 points, and you knew it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We just seem to do it all year. Whenever it comes down to the crunch, we just pull it together and play all as one.
And now you're leading 37-21.
Yeah, get a little bit of a lead, but we're not going to give up because they're a good team. They could come back.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
And Mike Nightingale trying to fire up the crew on his side of the field. Barry McCamus from Cavan, Ontario. A little town, and he's a big name there now.
Played at Crestwood Secondary School.
Savko kicks it off. Kevin Klein from the 15. Klein still going. He's got room to run. And a great defensive play by Brian Devenish prevents a touchdown by Kevin Klein. I'm not sure I can take any more big plays.
This is just a great individual effort by Kevin Klein. He's a backup wide receiver. And he certainly hasn't given up in this game yet. Makes some nice moves. And Brian Devenish saves what possibly looked like could have been a touchdown here if he gets by him.
Oof. He takes it all the way back to the Toronto 54-yard line, and John Kalin is back at quarterback. Kalin has time, has a man, and completes it to James Buchanan. Buchanan is brought down by Andrew Lang and a horde of other Toronto tacklers, but they should spot him with a first down for the Dinosaurs at a Toronto 41-yard line. So an intriguing decision by Peter Cannellan. I wonder what prompted it.
I guess he felt that Jason Assen maybe throwing the interception. They had to maybe make another change and get some things done. John Kalin has that threat of running. They're down by 16 points right now. They need 2 touchdowns and convert them both with 2-point conversions in order to tie this football game.
Kalin again with time. Oh, and Kreider makes a great catch just as Devenish cut his feet out from under him.
Well, Kalin's had time to sit on the sidelines and maybe take a look at the U of T defense and see what they're doing, and he delivers a strike here to Mike Kreider, who goes up high. And then Devenish comes in with a great hit.
Kreider with a touchdown reception earlier, now has 8 catches, and he gets his team down to the 26-yard line. They fake to Lewis. Kalin has all kinds of room in front of him, and here he goes. Inside the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. The tackle finally made by Barry McCamus.
That's why he's back in the football game, Gord, because of that ability. And I'm sure that Peter Cannellan has said, if you get outside and you don't see anybody open, you just tuck that ball under your arm and you just go for it. Good fake by John Kalin. Everybody on defense was going over with Chris Lewis. Now he doesn't see it open. He just takes off with it and runs up the field.
He got 9. And the ball came loose there, and now up comes an interesting situation.
Fumbled the snap from center from Haldor Thorkelson.
He certainly didn't gain any yards. It'll now be 3rd and a long yard. And Calgary's got to go for it here.
No question.
If he gets to just shy of the 15-yard line, he'll have it. How could Peter Cannellan not be pacing? He needs a full yard. Straight ahead. He's got it. First down, Calgary. 9 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Now, just hypothetically thinking ahead, if Calgary was to score a touchdown here, would you go for 2?
I think you have to, yes. You've got to start to play now for the tie. A little bit of a face mask there, too, that Toronto was lucky to get away with.
The ball is spotted at the Toronto 13-yard line. Again, the fake to Lewis. Kalen to the flat, and David Evans, who had caught only 3 passes coming into this football game, was unable to make the reception there.
And he was open. John Duran was trying to cover him, but good pressure on John Kalen. Put a strike rate on to David Evans. We said he's not a big pass receiver in this offense. See Dave Henderson gets pressure on Kalen. He has a couple of steps on Duran, but the ball a little bit behind him. This is where I think you're going to see Kalen try to roll out and put some pressure on that defense, and they just called a timeout. Toronto actually calls a timeout. They want to talk it over with their defensive coordinator, Giulio Giordani.
Now, I hate to harp on this point again, but think back to the dying moments of the first half when Calgary managed the clock very poorly, gave Toronto a free field goal. If they hadn't done that, it's 34-21. And they're still well within striking distance.
Yeah, it changes the whole complexion of the game. That was really a 3-point gift that Toronto had with just seconds left on the clock. Robin Rushton, linebacker coach. There's Giulio Giordani, the defensive coordinator.
Let's go! Let's go, Louis! Some big, baby, some big!
And you see Eugene Puccigrassi in the golf shirt there. The Heck Crichton Trophy winner is the outstanding player of the CIAU, talking it over with Mario Storino. Right now, the focus is on this quarterback, John Kalen, who has played both ways today and now faces a key 2nd and 10. Kalen to his right, lots of room to run, and here he goes. Inside the 5, he fights his way down to the 2, and that will be a first down for Calgary. You called it, Jamie.
Yeah, I think everybody in the building knew they were going to do it. I don't think Toronto seemed to know that Calgary were going to do it. They seemed to be confused a little bit on defense. They had all sorts of people running around when the ball was snapped.
Now, I might have been hasty calling that a first down. It's very close as they spot it just outside the 1. It is indeed a first down. 1st and goal from the 1.5-yard line.
In a situation, John Kalen likes to take it over. He has scored 9 touchdowns this year.
Kalen straight ahead. No indication he didn't get in. 2nd down. 8 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Oh, we could be in for a finish, Jamie. And Tom Hips, who has had a strong game for Toronto, is shaken up slightly, but stays in. 2nd and goal from the 1. Kalen again?
I think so. I think they'll run 3 quarterback sneaks in a row.
Lewis, touchdown. His 2nd of the game.
Flag.
And a flag is down. Hold everything. Everybody in the stadium focusing on Bob Butler.
Toronto, 77 offside, decline, touchdown.
And the touchdown stands. Tom Hips was offside, and Calgary strikes back as Kalen gives the ball off to Chris Lewis, who has his 2nd touchdown of the football game.
They get to that power eye. You can see they lead outside, but then Lewis looks inside, and he just makes a great run into the end zone.
Great block by the fullback, David Evans, to spring him. And how good is the first year of Chris Lewis? Gets to the Vanier Cup and scores a couple of touchdowns. And there's an injured Toronto player down at the goal line.
Now here comes a moment of truth. Actually, they are not going for the 2-point conversion. They have Bruce Parsons on the field. He's already put down his tee.
Richard Fisher is the injured Toronto player. An All-Canadian back in 1991 and a 5th-year player.
And the Metris Award winner that year. He was out all of last year with a knee injury.
Let's go down to Rod Smith.
All right, thank you very much, Gord. John, it seems like the time away, the time on the sidelines offensively may have helped you a little bit. Would you say so, giving you a chance to observe the U of T defense?
Yeah, I would say so. It let me have a chance to look at what they're doing and what kind of coverage schemes they're running. It seems to have paid off.
Also, the fact that you have been going both ways through some of this game, how tired are you right now, considering how dry the air is and everything else?
Oh, the air's a little bit dry, you know, and feels a little bit hard, but I'm not tired right now. This game's too important to be tired.
Thank you very much.
Boy, he's got the headset, the phone going. He looked very calm. Need a longer cord.
I want to know how he does it. How does he levitate that phone?
And there's who he's talking to. So the 1-point conversion try.
Yeah.
And it's now a 37-28 game. So Calgary will require 2 possessions, but there's still plenty of time left in the 29th Vanier Cup. Now let's go back to sight lines and Leaf.
Gordon, I thought you made a great point. Calgary now still has to score twice to win this football game. Coach, put you on the spot here. Questionable call, not going for the 2 points?
Well, I think Peter Cannellan has really put the challenge out to his defense. Personally, I'd have gone for 2, and then if they were unsuccessful, you'd still need a field goal to tie with an additional score. So I think he's eliminated the possibility of tying the game with one more major.
Fun to coach from up here?
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, right. All right, Gord, back to you.
All right, thanks, Leaf. 9 points, 7.5 minutes to play. Jamie, plenty of time.
Yeah, there is plenty of time. I don't think Calgary will short kick it here. They feel they've got more than enough time to score a touchdown and kick a field goal to win this game, but they have to stop Toronto's offense.
Peter Cannellan may have confidence in his defense for a reason. Toronto has scored 14 points in this quarter, but does not yet have a first down.
Now they're starting to pray.
Nervous moments on both sidelines. Etienne takes the kick at his 5. And gets up across the 25 before he's brought down. So Kalen comes back in a quarterback in direction 8-play 54-yard drive that's capped off by Chris Lewis' second touchdown of the football game. And now the focus for Toronto is on the offense, and the Blues will be looking for a nice long time-consuming march. And we talked about a big play offense. Are they well suited to this kind of drive?
Actually, they haven't been throughout the regular season, but in today's game, with their ability to run the football, that's really played well into their hands right now. They have been driving the ball earlier in the game when they've been running it.
And what they can least afford is a turnover.
But I'm sure Bob Lako has said, take all the time, Mario Storino, take all the time in the world.
Muxlow, the lead back. Fights up to about the 35. He'll be a couple yards short of the first down. We've had 65 points scored in this game so far. The record 75 set by Calgary and St. Mary's back in '88. And look at Muxlow pull his way up the middle. He has not been much of a threat as a pass receiver today, though. And that coming into the game was one of his strongest credentials.
And that's really a credit to the defense of Calgary. Both Roger Ryanson and Chris Penner have done a good job of controlling him, not allowing him to get free into the flat.
The toss to Riche. Get the first down and more up across the 40 to the 43-yard line. And a key first down with 6:24 showing on the clock. Let's go to Vic Rauter.
With John Halkitis, they keep changing quarterbacks on you. How difficult is that to adjust to?
It's not so difficult. All we have to do is try to keep him contained, though. We're letting him get out of the pocket, and we're letting him, once he gets out of the pocket, he's got all that room to run. He also got the chance to throw the ball, and it makes it a lot harder on us. So what we got to do is just keep him contained, really. It doesn't matter who's in there.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
First down, Toronto at the Blues 43, and the clock is running. That perhaps the most important aspect of this game right now. Reverse. McCausland. And he's still going. The ball comes loose. Right into the arms of Dan Jeremiah. And Jeremiah is down at the 37-yard line, and a flag comes down late. He may have been face masked. Oh, here we go. What did we talk about a moment ago? The thing the Toronto Varsity Blues could least afford, a turnover. As Bob Butler and the officiating crew check out what the infraction is about, but it clearly came after the turnover.
Unnecessary roughness, Toronto, number 72, piling on, 15 yards, first down.
Murray Sopko is called for unnecessary roughness.
In play action, they pitch it to McCausland. He has lots of room outside. Does a nice job of getting up the field. Now again, look where the ball is. The ball's in his right hand. The ball has to be in his left hand if he's running left. All the pursuit's coming from the inside out. He loses the ball, Jeremiah picks it up, and then right here is where they call the infraction.
Dinosaurs have it at their own 53. It looks like the fumble Ruski is on. And there's a wild pileup. Let's see who picked up the football. That was Chris Lewis, and I'd like to take another look at that play because that was interesting. Kalen came away without the football.
I believe that's what they were trying to run, where the center snaps the ball and then holds it.
Well, whatever it was a loss of 2 and brings up 2nd and 12. And the clock running with 5:15 to go. Caleb under pressure, looking backside, gets away from the first rush and now throws it down the sidelines, but it's over the head of intended receiver James Buchanan. And the decision on the Calgary sidelines is being discussed now. 5:01 to go in the 4th quarter. And you're down by 9.
Better.
And Freider was open again.
Freider's open again on the backside, but you have to understand, Kalen is rolling out to the left. It's really tough. We talk about quarterbacks not throwing back inside like that. He didn't really have much of a chance.
In comes the punter, Bruce Parsons. And the clock is running under 5 minutes now. Remember, Calgary needs the ball twice. It's a direct snap, and then another snap. And they go back the other way, and this will be close to a first down. We'll see where they mark it. Oh, this is going to be close.
I think he's got it.
This is a bizarre play to Chris Lewis. Check this out. They mark it at the 47.
Now, from the mark on our side closest to us, it looks like he didn't have it, but from the sticks on the other side, which are the official yardsticks, it looks like he does.
This is the measurement of the year. Got it. Oh, oh my. And they all exhaled simultaneously in the Calgary press box. Let's have another look. Direct snap to Lewis, who puts the ball on the ground, fakes the snap, and then goes the other way. I've never seen that before in my life.
It's actually a great play. St. Mary's run a derivation of that play, and
what do you call it?
I don't know.
The direct snap, fake the snap, take the ball.
They probably have some name like Gizmo or something.
And make the first down by, oh, good foot.
Big play.
Oh, 1st and 10 from the 47. 4:30 to go in the 4th quarter. Kalen's under pressure. Rolling back the other way. Throwing over the middle and completes it to Buchanan down at the 29-yard line.
This is like playing sandlot football right now. John Kalen trying to take things into his own hands and making a lot of things happen. Great athletic ability by John Kalen. Realizes he has the ability to roll back and then look inside. Takes a great hit. And then finds Buchanan.
And Raposo was in his face right off the snap. First down, they mark it at the 30. Kalen on the out and up, looking for Buchanan. He's open. Oh, and he had it for a moment. A flag is down. There's a flag down in the end zone.
Remember, only a 15-yard penalty.
That's
does not
right.
go to the 1.
If this was a CFL game, the ball would be at the 1. Buchanan was open, but the ball hung up a little bit on the out and up.
Pass interference, Toronto, number 19, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Andrew Lang is called for pass interference in the end zone. The 15-yard penalty gives Calgary a first down at the 15.
And the proper call, because Lang is not playing the ball at all. He is playing Buchanan all the way.
Is it because his back is turned?
If he turns around and plays the ball, I think they wouldn't throw the flag, but he's not playing the ball at all. He's just going right after Buchanan, face guarding and putting his hands up in his face. Good call by the official.
3:45 to go, 4th quarter. 1st and 10 Calgary from the Toronto 15-yard line. Kalen will take it himself on what may have been a broken play across the 10. Bounced at the 7.
I think they're calling his knee down, though, back at around the 13 or the 13.5-yard line.
Now, was that a design play, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Looked like a quarterback draw. He was going to take it up inside, then he gets outside. But right here, McCamus just gets a hand on him, causes his knee to touch down right there.
Yeah, good call by the officials. It's a gain of 2, 2nd and 7 from the 13. Clock down to 3 minutes now. Here comes Kalen to his right. Now back to his left. To the end zone. Touchdown! Buchanan! Kalen makes it happen. And here come the Dinosaurs with 2:51 to play. They were down by 16 points 5 minutes ago. Now they kick the convert. They're down by 2.
What a difference it makes when you have a quarterback as athletic as John Kalen, being able to roll and buy yourself time and come back. And
what a throw. Left-handed, running against the body.
James Buchanan does a nice job of working back to the ball, securing the grab, making sure he's in the end zone. We talked about that earlier. Your defensive secondary can only cover people for so long. They have not been able to contain John Kalen since he's come back into the football game.
And there's an injured Toronto player, and Kalen deserves a breather. The injured player is John Holkitis, the man we heard from a moment ago. As we mentioned, he's the cousin of Detroit Red Wing star Bob Holkitis, and they're checking his left knee. One of the things about this fourth quarter, and we mentioned it a moment ago, is that Toronto has scored 2 touchdowns. But offensively, the Blues have not done that well, and with the lead have not been able to run much time off the clock.
That's right. I don't think they have very many first downs in the fourth quarter, and UFC's defense has been doing a great job. He has to be one tired man right now.
Let's go to Rod Smith.
Was doing a little inquiring about that tremendous play they did on 3rd down when they got that first on the run by Chris Lewis. There is a name for that fake. They brought it in about 2 weeks ago. It's the first time they ever tried running it, but I can't give you the name. It wasn't even told to me because apparently it's laced with a few 4-letter words.
Oh, no. Oh, no, not one of those. Well, it may have caused the Varsity Blues to say a few 4-letter words. Here's another look at it. Watch number 37 in the middle of your screen. He puts the ball down, then he snaps it, but he doesn't actually snap it. He just holds it, and then he takes off.
Keeps it. Actually, U of T did a pretty good job on it, Turner and also Devonish, but not until Lewis gets the first down. You know, Lewis putting his shoulder down at the last moment was the difference.
And Holkitis remains on the turf. Chris Lewis has had some kind of day. 2 touchdowns and that key fake punt. 2:51 to go. It's a 3-point lead, but the convert is still to come. And here's a look at how they did it. 7 plays, 53 yards. Buchanan with a 13-yard touchdown reception. Remember, 2 key plays, the fake punt and the pass interference in the end zone that gave Calgary a first down.
But what can you say about that man right there, John Kalen, never giving up in this football game, being pulled, having a chance to see what Toronto was doing on defense, coming back into the game. You almost thought when you look at John Kalen, he came out with a different kind of vigor. It was like, I'm taking the game into my hands, and we're going to try and win it.
Whoever wins the Vanier Cup today will have earned it. Bob Lako's team appeared to have things well in hand. We talked about the key 3rd down gamble. Calgary has gambled on 3rd down 4 times today and has made it every time. And we await the convert from Bruce Parsons. And again, this is the last time I'll mention it. That free field goal at the end of the first half. Calgary be leading right now with the convert. So Parsons to cut the lead to 2. He missed it. Oh, he missed it right.
How big is that?
In a game that's had everything, add that to the list. So it's a 3-point lead, 2:51 to play. Stay tuned. The finish will be fantastic. Bruce Parsons missed the convert. And now it's a 3-point Toronto lead. Just pushed it to the right. Wow. So it's 37-34, and here's the reaction of the kicker. Let's go to Leaf.
Gord, can you believe it? Missed a field goal, kind of sloppy there, but overall, Coach, pretty well played game today.
Well, I think the people across the country have got to be very pleased with the quality entertainment being provided to them today by the athletes from U of T and University of Calgary. It's been an outstanding national championship, and I think we're all winners for having that chance to see
Hey,
it.
listen, real pleasure having you join us today. Hopefully next year you'll be down on the sidelines with your Concordia Stingers.
As much fun as I had with you up here today, Leif, I think I'd rather be down at field level, but I thank you, and it was a pleasure to be a part of the TSN broadcast.
Thanks very much. All right, Gord, back to you.
And thanks to you guys for your insights today. And so we buckle up our chin straps and settle in for what should be an interesting 2 minutes and 51 seconds, and then maybe some more.
And did you notice Bruce Parsons looking at Mike Freiter, the hold, or is it blaming Mike Freiter? It looked like the hold was okay.
Wow.
But they might be kicking a field goal to tie this thing up in just a few minutes, so I'm sure they'll probably worked it out on the sidelines.
But Coslin and Etienne are back deep. And they kick it deep to Etienne from the 7. Etienne still going up to the 40. 2:44 to play. And here's another look at Parsons and Freiter after the convert was missed.
He's telling Freiter, you can't move the ball when it's down. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a kicker and you miss it, you're always going to blame somebody else, not yourself.
But missing a convert, I mean, how often do you see that? Luke Passagle hasn't missed one since the early 80s. Well, it stands as just another major turning point in a game that has been absolutely chock full of them. So we'll see if Storino and the Toronto offense can take some time off the clock. Richer on the tops. Gets to the 42.
If you take a look at Calgary's defense right now, they're covering all the offensive linemen. They're expecting run right now, and Toronto decided to come out and pitch the ball outside.
Let's go to Vic Rauter.
Well, the UT defense is going to miss John Alkidis, their nose tackle. He's gone for the game, fellas. Ligament damage in his left knee.
That could be significant if Calgary gets the ball back, because he's provided the major push up the middle, and with Kalen's ability to run, it could be a major factor. But right now the focus is on Toronto's offense and the Calgary defense's attempt to stop them. Richer again. Got across the 45 and has the first down. Clock down to 2:17. In this half, Mario Storino has not completed a pass and has thrown 2 interceptions.
And you know, when you're a quarterback, you go, thank God for the running game.
And for your defense and special teams. Richer got to the 45, first down. The clock is running, approaching 2 minutes. Calgary has timeouts remaining and can stop the clock. Muxlow up close to midfield, a gain of 9. That lead draw has worked well for Toronto.
They're trying to run the trap, and it wasn't there, and so Muxlow, seeing that it wasn't there, bounced it outside. Defensive tackle for Calgary jumped into that A gap. You can see it's not there. Muxlow bounces it outside. Ron Meyer is now playing defense. Stuffed that up pretty good, but Muxlow did a nice job of bouncing it outside.
And the clock runs under 1:40 to play now, and Toronto is moving the ball to midfield. Straight ahead to Richer, who is across midfield and should have the first down.
And now, if Toronto used the clock correctly and Calgary did not call any timeouts, they should be able to work about a minute off of the clock here.
And the first down is indicated.
That's the thing. You can't stop the clock on defense. It's the only way they can do it. They can't stop the clock on offense. So it's a good call by Calgary.
1:30 to play. See if we can listen in to Bob Leica.
What's up there, man?
Well, the instruction's pretty clear. Run the ball.
Yeah, silent communication right there. They're just saying we both all know what we have to do here right now. Burn time off the clock and don't put it up.
And don't put the ball on the ground. Do not fumble the ball.
That's right.
It's a first down for Toronto, just across midfield. 1:30 to play. The Blues lead by 3. Calgary has used one of its timeouts to stop the clock. Let's go to Vic.
The plan is simple. Keep it on the ground, keep it covered, run right at him and wear it down.
Sounds like a pretty good strategy to me. And here they come. Riche. And he fights for a gain of 6 on first down.
How big is that on first down? They've been able to get more than 6 yards every time, giving him an opportunity to continue to run the ball on second down. Nice job by Riche. Wants to go left, but then he reads it so well and he cuts back inside. Keeps his feet moving, works up the field.
Now the Calgary coaches were calling for timeout, but the defensive players did not. So the clock is running down to 1:10 now. Toss to Riche. And he fights his way close to the Calgary 45. We'll see where they spot it. He'll be about a yard short of the first down. And now they're yelling for Calgary to call timeout, which the Dinosaurs do. They're last. 1:03 to play in the fourth quarter.
Big decision time here for Bob Lako.
Wow. What do you do? It's third and exactly a yard.
Bob Lako is thinking right now, these are his options. If they get the first down, this game's over.
Right.
No question about it. They can run the clock off Calgary with no timeouts left. They punt the ball away. It gives Calgary one last shot to get into field goal range. Parson can hit from 48 yards out. He's done it earlier this year.
Red! Come here. Rob Mooney!
Bob Lako just signaled to Scott Mitchell to get into the football game.
Brad, have some fun.
Now remember last week in the Churchill Bowl, on a goal line play at the one, Storino had trouble with the snap. That's the last thing Toronto needs here. Third and a yard. If they make it, they'll win the Vanier Cup. Muxlow should have it, but it'll be close. I think they're going to spot him down at about the 44, and that's what he needs for the first down. And here comes another measurement of the year.
First down Calgary, isn't it? First down Calgary. They're not even going to measure that.
Here come the sticks, but this may be a formality. They marked them just across the 45. Short. Calgary ball.
Calgary still alive.
58 seconds to play, and the ball at their own 45. Here we go, folks.
Calgary need about 30 yards to get Parson in field goal range. It looks like Muxlow could have gone inside, but a great play by number 54, Rob Edwards. Power eye off tackle. Not much room in there at all. Looked like he could have gone off the block of Peter Vasilis, who was pulling from the left guard spot, but give credit to Rob Edwards. A great defensive play.
And away we go. Caleb quickly to the sideline, and the pass is incomplete, looking for James Buchanan. Second down. The clock didn't run. The clock did not run.
And Calgary, or excuse me, Toronto are complaining about it. The coaches are out on the field right now.
There were 58 seconds on the clock when Calgary took over.
You can see Bob Lako and Ron Murphy standing beside him, complaining to the official. They've taken time off the clock now. It's down to 55.
Oh. Everyone in the building is on their feet, it seems. And now they'll talk it over with the official timekeeper. Now remember that the time that appears on the clock is not official. The official time is kept by an official with a stopwatch on the sidelines. And Buchanan is coming out of the game. Kevin Klein, number 90, checks in. Buchanan's hurt.
The officials have taken 5 seconds off the clock. It's now 53 seconds.
And it's 2nd and 10 from the Calgary 44. So they've got the timing problem sorted out. And Lako still wants to talk it over with Bob Button. Now it seems they have everyone in agreement. Actually, the Dinosaurs might have an argument there because that didn't seem like a 5-second play.
No. I think what you'll see here, though, Gord, is...
The clock is reset to 53 seconds. That is the official time. 2nd down.
There we go. Okay.
I think we'll see John Kalin get outside here. And what Toronto has to be aware of is not just the 30 yards, but they could score on a big play.
Calgary has no timeouts left. Kalin over the middle, complete to Freider. He was going to lateral for a moment, but he thought better of it, and a good thing he did. He's got the first down at the Toronto 50-yard line.
Freider goes down and runs a hook. Now watch, Chris Lewis, number 37, will come into your screen. Just passed it there. Freider was looking to pitch the ball to him.
Oh, good thing he didn't, though. Here we go, first down, 44 seconds to go. And almost intercepted. Freider made a great defensive play to keep it away from Brian Devonish. Credit Freider there with keeping the ball out of Toronto.
No question. That's a great experienced play by Mike Freider on the outside.
And look at Bruce Parsons. The last time he kicked, he missed a convert.
They are about 20 yards away to get him into field goal range.
Right now it would be a 57-yard attempt. Almost certainly out of his range. 2nd down. Kalin has a man. Completes it to Kevin Klein. Down to the 30. 29 seconds to play.
Now this is a situation now where Calgary can go for the win.
.29 seconds to play. Remember, Calgary does not have timeouts. The Dinosaurs cannot stop the clock, but Toronto does.
How big a play is this for John Kalin? Looks very cool, poised in the pocket, delivers a strike to Kevin Klein.
This is a guy who caught his first career touchdown pass 2 weeks ago against Alberta. And I'm sure he'd tell you that this one was even bigger. 67.
No, I don't.
If I was coaching him, I'd say, have them run downfield, but there's nothing open, you run with it.
I guess the question here now, Gord, is do you play for the tie and go for 2 10-minute overtime halves, or do you try and play for the win right now? They've got plenty of time.
Now, this is a key play. Watch Devonish here on Freider, and watch Freider get the arm in.
That saves it.
That's as big a play as he'll make today, and it doesn't show up in the stats. 1st and 10. The ball's at the 30. 29 seconds to go. Early movement, no flags. Kalin. And Blair at the 15. 24 seconds to go. And the clock will start to run as soon as the ball is spotted. Now, you're in a position where you go to the end zone, right?
Absolutely. This is a chance to win it.
Kalin to his left. Time. A man, but the ball is knocked away. Looking for Kevin Klein. And a great defensive play by Andrew Lang.
No question, a big play by Andrew Lang. Got a good jump on the ball and got in front and just got a hand on it. Kalin deciding to try and pick on. Actually, he missed it.
Oh, and it went off the chest of Kevin Klein.
But just enough to get his hands in there to distract Kevin Klein. The clock stops.
Now, if you go to the middle of the field here to make it easier for Parsons, I wonder. You've got the ball at the 15-yard line. High formation. Fake to Lewis. To the end zone they go. The ball is knocked in the air and incomplete. Freider couldn't squeeze it. And now Freider will come back and spot the ball for the field goal attempt by Bruce Parsons to tie the football game with 10 seconds left.
And a tough kick because he is at an angle.
Remember, he missed a convert minutes ago. And I'm sure he's well aware of that.
Looking down the middle, John Kalin delivers a strike. Good defensive play by Ben Roos.
For 1 today. On the year, on field goal attempts from 20 to 29 yards, he made 6 of 7. This comes from the 22. And there's not much more to say. I believe Toronto has it. And that'll be the Vanier Cup with 2 seconds to play. In a game that has had absolutely everything. Number 41 comes right up the middle. Blocks it. Mike Freider picks it up, tries to make something happen. This is a smart play by him. Right in the middle of your screen, number 41 gets through the gap. Gets a hand on it. His left hand blocks the kick. Storino to one knee, and the team that was first is next. The Toronto Varsity Blues, who won the first Vanier Cup in 1965, have won the 1993 edition 1 year after their own university wrote their football team off. Let's go to Vic Rauter.
Wow, what a game. There's something special about that group of kids. There really is, and it was a special game and quite a special ending. I can't say enough about them.
The way this game went back and forth, Coach, it was remarkable. You want to say that nobody wanted it, but both teams wanted it very badly.
Very much. I don't think you can see a better football game, no matter what you're talking about, NFL, CFL, whatever you're talking about. It was a great game, and those kids are really, as I said, a special group of kids.
And for you and your thoughts on a year ago at this time, when you're thinking about no future, no program to come back with this?
I'm not, as I said all along, we haven't thought about that at all. We're just thinking in the present, and these kids will remember this for the rest of their lives, and I'm just thrilled for them.
I think people who see this will remember it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I've been to some good football games. Saw the Grey Cup in '87. That was one.
I'm going to the locker room now, please.
Saw Dave Ridgway win one for Saskatchewan in 1989 in this stadium. I can honestly say I've never seen a better football game in my life.
This is the best championship game I think I've ever seen. This is the best Vanier Cup that I've seen, and I've been around college football for a long time. It doesn't get any better.
Imagine the emotion of these two teams after going through what they just did for 3 hours. You have to think that at one point or another, both teams thought they had this game won.
Just that last shot there with Brad Muxlow embracing Mike Freider. Remember, Muxlow was the host of the Calgary Dinosaurs here in 1988 when they won their last Vanier Cup. And he was one of the players very instrumental in saving this program. A backup running back for 4 years and got his chance to start this year. And, of course, Mario Storino.
You know, we talked at the start of this game on the opening of our telecast about the last game. Jackie Parker once told a group of football players that the nicest thing that could be said about an athlete is that he played his best when it mattered most. And that can certainly be said of both these teams today. My goodness, what a game. The Varsity Blues are the Vanier Cup champions. And just about everybody had a hand in it.
Just saw that last shot, Andrew Lang embracing the president of U of T, Bob Pritchard, Mario Storino. Don Blair played a great game for the Calgary Dinosaurs.
Remember Bruce Parsons' field goal attempt? Look at Joe Tassoni. He was injured, but he jumped about 8 feet in the air there. And I know Bob Lako plays it down, but man, what a job he did.
Came to the program in 1988 when U of T football was having some problems winning games, and he really turned this program around.
The Toronto Varsity Blues win the 1993 Vanier Cup, and they themselves must scarcely be able to believe it. We'll be right back. Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass.
With 10 seconds remaining in regulation time, Bruce Parsons attempts a 22-yard field goal to tie it up. The number 41, John Raposo, gets in and his left hand gets up, blocks the field goal attempt, saving the win for the U of T Varsity Blues.
A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Apple Auto Glass. Guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast. In a jubilant Toronto dressing room, here's Vic Rowder.
Yeah, jubilant indeed. Congratulations to the U of T Blues. Joining me now, their captains Brad Moxlow and Richard Fisher, Brian Devenish, David Scandifio, as well to present, of course, the Vanier Cup for 1993. The president of the CIAU, Mr. Bob Phillip, and the honorary chairman of the Vanier Cup, Mr. Dale Creighton, the executive vice president of London Life. Gentlemen, you have the honor.
There you go, guys. You really worked hard this year, and you earned it.
Thanks a lot, guys. Great job.
Yes! Yes! We got it already! Number one!
Guy, can I just say a word to you? You played an outstanding game, and London Life's proud to be part of the Vanier Cup. And on behalf of London Life employees, their field people, and their customers, great job. You're great to be champions.
Thank you. Richard, that's a remarkable performance. You had a thigh problem, a cramp in your left thigh, then they checked your knee, and this defense played as well as maybe any defense has this season.
Yeah, we played the best game of the year. We stuck hard, our offense played well. We came out on top. We played with our hearts, and that's how we won.
Congratulations to you. Brad, this is a sweet win for you, I know that.
Oh, big time. This is, the icing on the cake, and it'll settle in tonight when we're out partying. But, I love these guys.
There's going to be a party, do you think?
Oh, you know it.
A huge party in Toronto tonight.
Forget school right now. We just can't think of that, We worked so hard to be here, and we won it now. So
this game went back and forth. The emotion. Talk about the emotion of how this game went, the momentum of it.
Oh, they're such an outstanding team, and you can't count them out in the way they came back at us every time, and that just takes so much out of you emotionally, and right near the end of the game, and it just, drained us, but we came up on top, and that's what mattered.
The thoughts after last year, and realizing that there may not be a program, and now, to 1 year later, be here holding the Vanier Cup.
Sweetest thing in the world, but all I gotta say is U of T's number one.
Yeah, it is, and think about the tradition of this school. First time ever. That was in '65, and to lose it again in, '74. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, but, Friends of Football behind us. Everybody's been behind us all year, and we worked so hard to be here, and we won it now, and this is where it's been.
All right, we want to add now. It's really nice. We want to add as well the banner presentation as CIAU champions. We welcome Mr. Mark Lowry, who's the executive vice president of the CIAU, and Mr. Steve Plumley, the Vanier Cup chairman. Steve, this is a remarkable game. It can do.
It's a great. The last time they won 65, and I'm so proud of these guys. And it was the best game played at Skydome in the last couple of years, pro or university.
Hey, Mr. Lowry, you know, people will want to talk about this game, I think, for years to come, and how good it really was.
Yeah, this was it. 30 years has taken this University to win this, and they won it in a way that I don't think will be forgotten for another 30 years. It was a wonderful game.
A remarkable game. Now, we're looking for Glenn McCausland. Is Glenn here? Where's Glenn, please? There he is. Oh, yeah. So this is what winning is all about, eh, Glenn? You know, oh, sure. Listen, what do you... Oh, yes. Glenn... Oh, yes. Oh, yes. This, Glenn McCausland. You have been named the Ted Morris Award winner, and presenting you with the award as the outstanding offensive player, Mr. Jerry Startek of General Motors. Mr. Startek.
Congratulations. What a great game you played, and your whole team did a wonderful job out there. And I'd like to present you with this, and also to the athletic department of your school, I want to present this check from General Motors and the Geo dealers across the country in your name. You deserve it. University of Toronto did an excellent job.
Thanks very much.
And congratulations. A remarkable game.
I just wish we could have made it easier for the fans out there. I know that was a nail-biter all the way to the end. I'm just happy to win.
Well, you know what? It looked like it would have been maybe a nail-biter when you ran that punt return back, but it just, oh, yes. It just wasn't to be. I mean, Calgary just made it close all the time.
Hey, you got to give them credit. They're a good team, and they played right down to the wire. I just like to thank my teammates. This is the best feeling in the world.
All right, congratulations. Congratulations to the U of T. John Wells.
Well, it was a terrific way to wrap up our coverage here on TSN this year. Just an outstanding football game. We look back perhaps to 1989, a Grey Cup game in this building. But realistically, I don't think we've seen a better football game in a long, long time. And full marks to the University of Toronto Varsity Blues for a gutsy, gutsy victory. And applause, too, for the Calgary Dinosaurs, who came so close.